Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs Watch Along presented by Blue Moon, my favorite beer, Cody Bellinger, Corey Friedman, and our good friend Jay Zawoski from CHGO Blackhawks. Guys, the Cubs are on right now, or they're about to start. 2 minutes. We started before 1:20. Credit to us.
Early today.
Yeah. This is a watch along, and I'm trying to do my best Luke Stuckmeyer, because Luke Stuckmeyer, it's his son's birthday today, so he took the day off.
All right, fair.
Big of him, all right? So I'm going to try and lead this watch along the entire 2.5 hours.
Son's birthday is more important than Kyle Hendricks in the Chicago Cubs.
I know.
Priorities.
Makes you think.
That's why you and I don't have children.
I will. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to do my best by hoping that this watch along is no more than 2 hours. A 2-hour game would be awesome.
If that's what happens, that means Kyle Hendricks was pretty good. So
exactly.
I'll sign up for that.
I
don't know if I would wager on that. But
no.
Yeah,
but
sounds nice.
I'm doing my best Luke impression because that's his thing. Like, he would rather the game go fast than the Cubs win some days. So, anyway, hope you're having a good day, Stuck. But yeah, we're here. We're gonna watch the game.
That is not what Luke believes. His saying is win or lose in 2 hours. So he would prefer the win, but if they're gonna lose, make it quick.
He does prefer the win.
Let me just advocate for him because he's not here.
Very big of you to do. Also, I guess the way I think of it is when it's the 9th inning and the Cubs either trail by 1 or it's tied, he's like, end it as fast as possible. So if they're down by 1, he's like, 2 runs, no less. 2 runs, no less. All right.
The games are so fast now with the pitch clock that like max is gonna be 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm almost finding that I'm disappointed. Like I'll finally like settle in for the night, sit down. Like, it's the 7th inning already.
Yeah,
man, I missed the entire game.
Monday was a pretty long game. Monday was over 3 hours. I think
the last like 2-3 innings went really quick.
Yeah,
really quick.
I felt like the first 7 went really fast.
With how hot it's been, I don't mind them going quicker, but there are definitely those games, especially on the weekend, like you said, where it's like, it's a Saturday, it's beautiful. I'm not trying to get out of there. I'm not like, I want to sit here for 5 hours if they would let me. Like,
I'm gonna fix baseball right now. No pitch clock on weekend games.
Ooh.
Just hang out at the park.
So my only counter to that is that Brendan and I do the Sunday show and Sunday night baseball this week. So I'm going to veto that real quick.
Weekend day games?
Otherwise,
weekend day games?
We're doing the show at midnight. Like,
it's just, baseball is a summer companion. You guys have to watch it obsessively in every pitch and every inning and break it all down. But like for the average baseball fan, they're just kind of chilling and it's on in the background. You're cutting a lawn and you got the headphones on or whatever. You're cleaning up around the house. It's
the best sports to listen to on the radio.
It really is. There's no doubt about it.
All right. So Kyle Hendricks on the mound today.
Kyle here.
I would say, considering how hot it is, I'm optimistic for like 4 2/3. But if he manages to go 5 or more, I will declare him back. Is that
5
fair?
or more? Okay.
He had a good 4 innings in relief on Friday at Friday 120 Club, and it was largely just because Jordan Wicks got hurt. Just coming off that, he's got like 8 scoreless innings in June or something. Why would you ask that, Lawrence?
Heliot Ramos. I have him on my fantasy.
It'll be Estrada.
That's a nice pitch.
There you go. That changeup. There you go. So we got 1 out. Anyone got no run first inning? I didn't take it.
For the record, because I'm not talent, Corey made me sit back here. So
because
that's what, if anyone was wondering, that's why.
I don't think I have that kind of pull around here.
I think you're very talented.
I forgot to mention, we have a special guest on today's watch along. It's Grillin' with Dad, who is offset right now with his son. I was told over 1 million followers on TikTok.
Damn.
All for Grillin' Meats.
We're very excited.
I respect that as a social media guru. I mean, I run our Twitter account and our Instagram and all that, and I've been trying to.
You shouldn't tell people that. Now they know who to talk to when there's a spelling error.
Everyone knows it's me at this point. If you watch our show, you know it's me. All right, but I'm very impressed for what he does to get over 1 million followers on TikTok. I'm impressed, but.
It's going to be grilling, and we're going to have.
We're looking forward to that.
We're going to get it on the stream, so people are
exactly
going to be able to see him grilling.
That's the more important thing.
Yeah, the grill cam going on.
I'm excited to try some of this stuff.
Yeah, as a fat guy, I appreciate him being here too.
So
all for it.
early on here, velo looks good for Hendricks. Fastball sitting 88, 89. That changeup looked good on the first strikeout. I think the key for him, as it's been recently, like the stuff is pretty decent. It's about location.
Yeah.
As it always has been for him, but
Always
especially as he's gotten older, he's not as fine-tuned. Like, just got to avoid those really hittable mistakes. And he threw one in that first at-bat. Luckily, wisely took it for a strike. But that's the key, I think, for him, especially on a warm day. You can't leave too much over middle, which is that expert analysis you guys are here to listen to me offer.
Don't throw it in the middle of the plate.
90 on that one from Kyle.
Well, it looks like it's moving well, too. Maybe not with the control we're used to, or at least I'm used to with him.
You think since he doesn't necessarily throw hard that it may like he could last longer in these like weather conditions, the heat?
I always find it remarkable, like when guys like PCA, I remember before the game yesterday was wearing like the hoodie maybe when they were doing the anthem. And I am always like, I don't understand. Arrieta was always the opposite. He was wearing no sleeves,
cut off,
even if it was 30 degrees outside. I never understand how these guys do it. Even today, PCA's got the kind of 3/4 sleeves. It's like 93 degrees outside.
I think PCA, as a pasty white guy, I can speak to this. Looks like he's going to burn very easily. I think it could be sunburn control
he is
for
from
him.
Naperville, so.
Yeah, but he grew up in LA.
Yeah, but whatever. Yes.
I think he's got the sun protection in mind,
I agree,
just like the young man they showed before the game started.
Does have a fair complexion.
Yes.
We got 68 people watching on YouTube. Shout out to all y'all.
Thanks for hopping in.
Bunch of sickos on a Wednesday afternoon to watch this team.
Not even to watch
this
nice
team,
pitch. To watch us.
If he can get calls like that, it makes Hendricks' job a lot easier. That nipped the strike zone. But if he's getting those calls, it certainly makes his job easier.
Sure. Do we want the strikeout or do we want the ground ball?
I'm curious, and maybe somebody in the YouTube chat can tell us. Like, they are showing PCA a lot. I'm curious what they're talking about on the broadcast, because nothing's happened in this game yet. But they keep cutting to PCA in center.
Brendan's in the chat, says, stop complaining about the weather, Corey.
I don't think that I was. I was noting that it's weird some guys wear long sleeves, like the guy batting Bailey for the Giants here.
Corey, I would love for you, because this is an opportunity for you, for some fans that are maybe watching the game, to get a real, your Pat Hughes on.
What do you mean?
You
want me to
watching
commentate
it live.
the game?
I almost think that maybe you take a crack at it. Maybe you give a little uniform description in a couple minutes. Here.
We got to get the sweater. Try. We got the sweater, right?
Yeah, maybe you get in your bag a little bit.
My bag.
Is that legal? Can we do that?
You haven't thought about it.
I think the only pretend announcing I've done, they had a booth at the All-Star game that was at the time Comiskey Park in, what was that, 03? I think it was 03, because Wood and Pryor were both on the team. And they had like a booth at the Fan Fest where you could watch a historic video and like record your play-by-play.
That's cool.
I have that VHS somewhere.
Charlie in the chat says he's listening to us with headphones on with the marquee
That's what I'm saying.
muted. That's what I'm talking about. Take that.
Yeah, take that, Boog.
Take that, Boog.
And or Pat.
With that, I will crack this blue moon for Charlie.
Do we have someone, can we throw to like Emma maybe to tell us about this hitter on the Giants, like 4th grade math teacher or something like that?
Yeah.
If you know,
what did
I could cackle in the back.
Yeah.
Loudly.
Yeah, that would be like a good radio.
That's
thing.
Yeah,
that's the radio.
Yeah, people love that.
People love it.
Love it.
So Matt Chapman
noted
here,
free agent target Matt Chapman.
Yeah, I'm sure Brendan is just fist. He's got 2 fists right now watching Matt Chapman in a Giants uniform.
Good amount of whiffs here for Kyle to start this game. That's nice to see.
Yeah, his strikeout line was 3.5 today. He's got 2 already. But if people don't remember, he pitched in his best game of the year last year against the Giants at Oracle. He almost threw a no-hitter that day. Went like 7 almost 7 or 8 innings. Came out, but like he had a no-hitter up until he came out of the game.
I'm happy that was foul, because Morel was going to throw that into the stands.
Yeah. That or it would have bounced. But Bellinger's over there, So I am Sean asked in the chat who's ready for nearest to close today, and I can confirm I'm not.
Yeah, Keegan Thompson, congratulations to him and his wife, had a baby.
And
another
he strikes
swing and a
out the
miss on the
side.
changeup.
Yeah, all right.
Changeup working today.
Let's go.
That probably caught too much of the plate than he wanted, but it worked out anyway.
Don't let me talk myself into this being a Kyle Hendricks legacy.
That 21, 22 pitches. So
yeah,
a lot of pitches, but 3 strikeouts. So
well, we're through one inning, and I was kind of thinking about what we could do in like these half innings. Other than like we could sit here and talk about how much we love Blue Moon and grilling with dad and meat and all that, which I do love all those things. All right.
Yeah.
But with Willie Mays passing yesterday, me and Luke on yesterday's podcast, we did like our baseball Mount Rushmore. So Jay, since you're here for another half inning, who's on your baseball Mount Rushmore?
All right. Well, did you go from the heart or from the head?
I went from
part of the discussion.
I feel like I went half like impact on the game and then just stats after that.
Connor Bedard.
I mean, Willie Mays has to be on there. Hank Aaron has to be on there. Babe Ruth has to be on there. So then the question is, who's the fourth? And Mike Trout has an argument. I think when it's all said and done, Shohei Ohtani is going to have an argument. I mean, but you look through all the history of like DiMaggio and Mantle and picking 4 baseball players for all time. And then how do you exclude Jackie Robinson for impact on the game as well? So it's like, I kind of want to do somebody modern.
Yeah.
So I think for now, I'm going to say Trout, and I'm going to hold him there until Ohtani retires. Because I feel like when it's said and done, Ohtani will have had the better career of the two. Mm-hmm. But until it's complete, it's not complete. It's not to shift it to hockey, but I have a little spot reserved for Connor McDavid when it's all said and done with him, because he might be the best player I've ever seen. He just hasn't finished yet.
Yeah.
So when it's all said and done, what do the numbers mean? How big's the drop off late? And those are the same kind of things I'm thinking about with Ohtani. I think Trout's had enough. Sorry to interrupt you. I think Trout's had enough longevity to say, okay, we know he's going to be significantly good until he decides to call it a career.
Can't stay healthy anymore, but you're right.
Yeah.
I'm good with all those names, but at least for me, I mean, you already know this about me. Like Barry Bonds is up there.
It's hard to ignore that.
Whether if people want to throw a fit about that or I don't really care. Like you can't leave him off. And even that, we've talked about this on air before, like the way that they leave him out of the Hall of Fame. Like it's a mess. Well, it all happened. You can like debate the merit of it or all that other stuff, but it all happened. It's in the record books. So
yeah,
I mean, just how I see it.
I went Jackie Robinson, Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, and Willie Mays.
Obviously John Lester.
Yeah, obviously. Well, we could have done
Bonds, John Lester.
I guess we could do
Jackie Robinson.
We could do a Mount Rushmore of Cubs legends, but like not actual Cubs legends.
That sounds like a nice January topic for you guys.
Yeah,
like some of our favorite Cubs legends.
That's the thing is favorite and best are different. You've got guys who, people ask me who my favorite Cub is, and when I say Javier Baez, they look at me like I'm crazy. I go, you asked me my favorite. You didn't say who's the best.
Yeah.
But I just think of all the moments he had, and he had a 20-year career's worth of highlights in his short time here. It's crazy and memorable and great in the playoffs and all those things.
Jody Davis got mad at me on Twitter like 2 months ago because I said that Chris Bryant is a top 5 talent in Cubs history.
Oh, I remember.
That doesn't mean that I'm saying that he was like the best, like a top 5 player in Cubs history.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, like in terms of talent,
you're right about that.
I think
that's accurate.
Top 5. Yeah.
And
Jody Davis took it as
5-tool player,
right? And Jody Davis took it as that I was saying he's a top 5 player. So like, he replied to it, and then like a lot of people were on his side and took it that way. And like,
so this is
a lot of discourse that was unneeded.
There's been a lot of discussion about Nico Horner, and I see it in our YouTube chat now. Becky asked if we think he's hurt. We know he's hurt.
We know he's hurt.
Did he swing?
I don't think he swung at all.
They call it a strike.
He called that a strike?
Oh, Craig is pissed.
I'll get to my point in a second. Can we see a replay, please?
Get ejected.
Terrible, he says.
Let's see. That's an awful call.
That's an awful call.
That's not a
man.
swing.
All right, so Nico called out on strikes. I was going to say that was an 8
That's the
pitch
most
at bat
emotion
at
I've
the very
seen from
least.
Craig all season.
That's a terrible call.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to start this game.
Great.
That's
That's like what happened in
that's
Colorado
also not a
last night.
strike. We don't
umpires.
do this a lot, but they're really terrible. Did you see the thing in Colorado last night with Teoscar Hernandez?
Yeah.
Like these umpires are out of control, dude.
They're the worst. Surprised they didn't call that a strike.
But to finish the point, like we know Nico's hurt. We just don't really know how severe or how much it's affecting him. But he had an injury in his hand that doesn't go away in what has it been 6 days or whatever since that happened. So we kind of know he's playing through it. How it's affecting him or how much it hurts or anything like that is hard to say. He wasn't hitting that well right before it, but he's dealt with a lot of injuries. He has soft tissue injuries all the time. So I don't know. He's been a pretty consistent hitter throughout his career. I think he'll get there as long as he's healthy.
That's the thing that like frustrates me with him though, is it's not even necessarily him. It's like, or I guess part of it is him because he's the one going to the Cubs saying he can play, and the Cubs are actually letting him play. And it's just like it's hard for me.
Been doing it for years. I never understand. I really don't understand.
It's hard for me to put blame on just one person. Like I think it's on both. And unless Nico starts hitting, I'll give him this. At least he's been defending. The defense has been there. He's been pretty good defensively over the last handful of weeks.
Yeah,
but I personally don't like that he's leading off the last.
I imagine it's funny for you to talk about stuff like that, just knowing that hockey players are going through the Stanley Cup playoffs with broken legs.
Well, it's different though. I mean, like for a hitter to have it's a broken bone in the hand, right?
You get a
small fracture.
That's going to severely impact swinging a bat. I would imagine every swing is pretty painful. And last year, famously, Matthew Tkachuk played in the Stanley Cup final with a broken sternum to the point where his brother had to literally remove him from bed every day, and then he would go play a hockey game that night. But it's just kind of it's hard to compare. It's swinging a bat with a broken bone in your hand is, in what my mind feels close to impossible. Just when you think about the way the bones move as you carry the weight of the barrel through.
Yeah.
I mean, not that a broken sternum is easy because every time someone hits you, you feel that, but I don't know. It's just a different. I've always kind of been of the mindset of, you're playing through that. That's dumb. You probably shouldn't do that if you're playing through
especially in baseball, we just see it too often where they do this and then they are basically playing down a man. I mean, Nico's playing every day, so
the season's too long, but if it's the playoffs, maybe you know what I mean? Like it's, hey, I'm good enough to go out there and give you stellar defense, draw some walks, and maybe get a blue pit now and again with the way my hand is. But you have to do that calculus of what's the value of the defense and the base running versus the lack of bat.
Cody right at him. Yeah, I just remember I grew up as a young lad as a Colorado Avalanche fan, and remembering every year in the playoffs, Peter Forsberg was basically not put together as a human being,
held together by tape. Yeah.
Are you an Avalanche fan?
I loved at the time and still love to this day Patrick Waugh.
There
was nothing like watching those goalies when I was younger. It was such an experience.
Also, when you were growing up, there was really no reason to be a Hawks fan.
No, and you couldn't watch them on TV.
You couldn't watch them on TV. They were pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Yeah.
For the majority of your youth, I would imagine.
That was the
Hawks made it very
Eric
difficult
Daze,
to be a fan.
Steve Sullivan, Chicago Blackhawks.
Yes. So understandable.
Here's the much talked about Christopher Morel.
He had an off day yesterday. Comes up, get an RBI hit for insurance.
Yeah. Well, and that was one of those
I'd say
he needs more of more of those. It was in the shortstop hole, but able to beat it out. He needs a little bit. He's hitting the ball hard, and his expected stats are good, but people want results. And every now and again, guys just need a seeing eye single. So that was good to see. We'll see if he can keep it up.
What we need is a win. That's what we need. Corey.
You're right.
You're right, Braggs.
I'm tired of this team ruining Cody's life. Forget about my life.
Yeah, forget about your life.
We're worried about Cody's life. It's being ruined by this godforsaken team.
Question for you: are you cosplaying Matt Peck right now?
No, I'm cosplaying people that enjoy summer. Peck doesn't, hold the rights, to
He's not the only one here
wearing
sunglasses. Me and Cody are
wear
rocking
tank tops.
the tank tops.
All
Peck
right.
doesn't, hold authority over anyone that enjoys the summer. Well, I'm getting
man.
How did
defensive.
he not hit that?
Center cut
Damn it.
98.
You just
You're gonna
challenged
want to
him.
hit that. Yeah.
Mm.
Second inning coming up.
Oh, Jorge Soler.
Cubs legend.
No hitter watch.
No hitter watch.
Rex, are you sitting on at some point today?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on in the fourth inning.
But he decided to just jump in now.
Just got done doing a tavern style. I might step out and get some sun out on the back patio.
Yeah, you could use it.
Yeah, thank you. We're
Our
working
friend
on it.
Nicholas Moriano
What'd you
in
talk
the
about
chat.
Tavern style?
We talked about, ironically enough, which baseball team in Chicago has been more disappointing.
Cubs.
It's the Cubs.
The Sox may end up being the worst team in baseball history, though. If
Their
that were,
their
if I were to tell
expectations
you,
were on the floor.
if I were
though.
to tell you though that the White Sox ended up with the worst record ever, would you still say the Cubs is more disappointing?
Yes.
Because I feel
Yes.
like
No, absolutely
Yes.
not. The White Sox are more disappointing if they end up with the worst record of all time.
I have to agree with Joey. I feel like we're using our Cubs bias here because we're very
100%.
upset about the team.
their
I see what you're
expectations were
saying.
nothing though.
That is an embarrassment. How long has this sport been being played?
Long
Also, as a brief aside, I know this is a 9-inning watch along, but we don't need to talk about the White Sox on this stream.
That's true.
I mean,
This is
talking
a
about how
Cubs
bad they
stream.
are is good,
Yeah.
though.
But we can talk about how much they suck.
When the Cubs get over 500.
I see
Yeah.
your argument, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. It just depends on where the Cubs end at the end of the year. So far, they've been disappointing, but they're still only like a game and a half out of the wild card. And like at this point, I think if you would have asked me in March if the Cubs were a game and a half out of the wild card in mid-June, would I be okay with that? And I would say that I'd be okay with that. But that's if that was the only context. If there's no context attached to it, if you just told me that,
that's what
I would be okay
that's
with
what
it.
Tom and Jed want you to
You're
think.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But
You're
the
again.
context-
There's not attaching the
I know.
context.
But the context actually, when you look at it that way, a game and a half out of wild card, as bad as they've been, you got to have some hope that if half these guys start doing it what were expected to do this year, you should pretty easily grasp a wild card spot, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm in someone else's seat. Is it your turn, Greg? All right.
He's got
Goodbye.
a great shirt.
Thank you, everybody.
Surrounded by Gregs.
While we
Bye,
swap
Jay.
the Blackhawks guys, Cody, we didn't talk about. I don't think Jan Gomes DFA'd.
Pour one
Thomas
out.
Nido from
Mhm.
the Mets coming over. So it's a move that had to be made. And I know I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about it today. Like Nido, even just as being, I think he's been at like a 70-something WRC plus. Like that's a big improvement over both Amaya and especially Gomes. If he throws one runner out, we might throw a party in this studio. So
Like we
it's-
did when the ninth inning was completed yesterday.
yeah, like Jan Gomes was great for this team. Super clutch last
That's it.
season.
End your sentence there.
and
Don't-
that's
you
it.
don't need to say
Yeah.
any more. He
So
was
thanks,
great for
Jan
this team.
Gomes, but it's a move they had to make.
Yeah.
Welcome, Greg.
My favorite
Howdy.
part of the Jan Gomes era was the fact that the Cubs had more wins with him than the Cardinals had with Wilson Contreras.
It was worth.
Sorry, Greg. Hi, how you doing, man?
Doing all right.
I
decided
love
to-
this shirt. Bill Murray and Harry Carey on that. I need that shirt, to be honest with you.
From when the lights were turned on, yes.
Yeah.
The Jan Gomes season last year.
Jonathan.
We'll
A
always have that.
Yeah, we'll
We'll always have it.
lot of people don't know his full name is Jonathan.
Jonathan?
No.
I would have actually
We got
believed you.
That was
got him.
that was a running gag on the Blackhawks show last year. We had a guy for half the season named Rem Picklick, and we said his full name was Remington, so we just called him Remington the whole season. So yeah,
So another strikeout for Kyle Hendricks, this time on the curveball.
Wow.
It's a good start to this game. He's gotten several whiffs, and
He
4
owned
strikeouts.
this team last year in San Francisco. So I'm just curious to see how far he can go in the game. It would be a massive W if he can go 5.
yeah. I mean, if you can get out of the second inning with less than 40 pitches, that will help.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll see.
here's former Cub and World Series champion Jorge Soler.
Who is
Oh,
the
of-
Chicago Blackhawks
from the
equivalent
2016
of Kyle
Chicago
He
Cubs?
won it with the Braves as well, but yes, he did win a World Series also with the Chicago
Blackhawks
Cubs.
equivalent. So
Thank
like
you. Thank you
old
for
guy
reminding
that's
me.
like
Sean
Probably
Caselli,
hurts him more on the field, but helps him in the locker room.
Sure.
Oof.
There you go. Nice pick, Morel.
It's a tough one.
And
I'll
then
have
he
to think
makes
about
a-
that. I'll come up with an
play.
answer.
Better
before I
throws
leave.
from
Take some
Morel.
time,
The glove and some of those easy plays that maybe he bobbles or deflect off the glove have still been somewhat of an issue. But
Yeah.
as far as the throwing, I think has gotten better at that. It's still, I think most would agree, like not super tenable long term at third base, but
Yeah, when you ever
that was the biggest concern I think coming into the season, and he's not really airmailing those throws as much as he once was.
So let me ask you guys: is Keegan Thompson the savior of the season?
the
I mean, a
mayor.
1, 2, 3, ninth.
Well,
Now
he's not gonna be there today because he had a kid.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, his
Much
wife,
like Luke prioritizing
his
family.
partner had the kid. He was just in the
Prioritizing
Yes,
delivery room.
correct.
But now he's got new dad energy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, a 1, 2, 3,
so
ninth inning was the most impressive
He's an
thing that
interesting
happened all
guy
season.
because we saw him start this season and struggle, and he's been so like up and down at times. His stuff looked really good.
Yeah, he
last
incorporated
night.
a
Like
sweeper
he looked
this year.
really good
Yeah.
last night. It was, I mean, I'm sure it happened not that long ago, but like a 1, 2, 3, ninth inning, I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Was that the first one all season?
It has to be.
I mean, with a lead at least.
There might be one where
Maybe it might have
Neris
happened a
actually
couple
did it.
times, yeah.
There
But
might be one where Neris actually did it, but I don't
certainly
remember.
it was like, I mean, it was mind blowing, and the
I would
vibes
think
were
if he
so
did it,
good
you'd
at the
remember
stadium
it though, because
yesterday.
it happens so rarely. I would feel you'd remember. Because I would imagine if he had a 1, 2, 3, ninth, you probably made like a TikTok about it, like celebrating, doing laps around the city. So I'm guessing he hasn't done it.
I mentioned him earlier, Sean Caselli. He asked in the chat, can Paul Bacco still catch?
Paul Bacco.
I don't
Cubs
know.
legend.
Yeah.
How old would he be now?
Dude, he has to be in like his 50s.
So, and
at
like
least.
that's a good example. He didn't get the whiff on that one, but that's
soft contact.
when Hendricks is working. He,
Yeah.
you
34
get
pitches.
the lefty to reach at that changeup going down and away in the other batter's box and roll over it to second base. That's like
Right.
vintage Kyle Hendricks stuff. If he can keep doing that, like this is a very nice start to this game. As we know, though, one of the things with Hendricks is let's get through that second time of the order, have guys see him again, and we'll see if these results can continue.
This
But
year,
this is a very nice start.
Yeah, this year his biggest problem has been, or not biggest, but like one of his problems is not only been the third time, but the second time through the order he's had issues. And so
when at the very least, too, like, especially for this offense and how this offense has been going, important to not put them in a hole early.
Sure.
So, of course, it's only 2 innings, and the Cubs offense needs to figure out how to do something. But I think that was one of the concerns, especially in some of those early starts from Kyle throughout the year. We saw it with Jamison Tyone a lot last year, like just immediately being in a 3-4 run hole with this type of offense and the way that they've struggled it makes things a lot harder. So let's see if the Cubs can jump out to an early lead here, and that would be nice.
Greg, we did this with Jay. We were doing it in between, like in half innings, but Willie Mays passed yesterday. So who's on? We did baseball Rushmore, or Mount Rushmore's yesterday, on yesterday's podcast. So who's on your baseball Mount Rushmore?
Ooh, that's a tough, like overall baseball.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't have a Mount Rushmore without Babe Ruth.
Mhm.
I mean, that guy, a legend of the game. Yeah, I would think Willie Mays probably deserves to be on there. I mean, he had an amazing career. I'd be hard pressed to leave Roberto Clemente off of it. That dude was just did everything.
Mhm.
Great player.
Changed the game.
Humanitarian.
impacted the game.
Yeah, great human being too. Like he was the whole package. And man, this is tough. I feel like I have to put a pitcher on there, though I already have Babe Ruth on there. But man, that's tough. Right, my first.
Yeah, the Giants put in a new pitcher.
Yep.
Did they? Is it a bullpen game or?
I guess for them, yes.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
the first 2 guys that pop into my head is either Nolan Ryan or Cal Ripken Jr. because I loved Cal Ripken Jr. And it's my
The
Mount
record
Rushmore.
for
I can put whoever the hell I
consecutive
want on
games
it.
played. I honestly like Cal Ripken Jr. is like an underrated one that you could put on there just because we talk about it so much in today's game about how hard it is to like even just play 162 games. Like, we were so impressed the fact that Dansby did it for like 2 years straight. But like for him to do it like basically his entire career, play every single game,
and he did the overwhelming majority of it at an all-star level, MVP level. I think Cal Ripken's career kind of gets overlooked because he was so consistently good for so long. You eventually started to take him for granted about how good he was. Like, we talk about that all the time on the Blackhawks show in regards to Duncan Keith.
Pause.
Cal
Ian
Ripken-
Happ.
Oh, where is he
In
going?
the Ivy.
Yeah, he
What
did not
happened
know
with
where
the
that ball
You
camera?
got to
was.
throw your hands up, brother.
Keep running.
Did he throw his
Let him
hands up?
stand there.
Just keep running.
So I'm actually not. What is he just can't make a move to get the ball?
Yeah, I
Is
guess
that correct?
so.
You don't
Yeah.
actually have to throw your hands up. You have
I
to like
It just helps if you throw your
concede
hands
that.
up.
Yeah,
so the
right. You just
umps know.
can't be actively
But
going.
what
for
is
it.
this route he's taking? Because he's going
Yeah.
nowhere near where this ball landed. He has no clue where it is. He
He
got
was
lucky.
looking up. Yeah,
He got
and
lucky.
then-
If that comes out of the Ivy, that's a
Let's
triple.
go, Ian.
I mean, that's the
Another
Cubs.
good swing for
that's
Ian Happ.
that's a thumbnail of the Cubs season there, right? Like, outfielder completely misplays it, and you get held to a double because of the Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that ball couldn't have just gone an extra 2 feet and landed in the basket.
The Happer.
He's been hot
Continuing a
lately.
strong month in June.
Yeah.
About time.
Well, and I saw some people talking about it, but it'll go up in a second. But coming into the game, he was at a 115 WRC plus, which is right where his career number is. So I know there was a lot of people freaking out about Ian Happ and his production to start the season. But as I think a lot of us kind of warned people to consider, like, he'll get there eventually. He's been pretty consistent. You can debate, if you want to debate his contract or where he should be hitting in the lineup or et cetera, that's fine. But as far as who he is, he's been pretty consistent.
I just like to give credit to the fact that he's not in the 3-hole. I'm just completely convinced it's because he's not in the 3-hole.
Yeah, that was
that pitch right there.
A lot
for
of
Dansby.
center
He's
cut
gotta
stuff.
do that,
that
man.
we're not working with. It's okay.
That was my biggest problem last season and parts of this season. Is like, why is Ian Happ your 3-hitter? He's not a 3-hitter. He's never going to be.
When
a
I always
3-hitter.
said it, but the way Ross did it, even when he was hitting right-handed, I mean, made me want to punch a hole.
It's like, oh, here we are. How many times last year was it Ian Happ up
a lot?
with runners on base and 2 outs,
2 pitches he hung there.
and Cody Bellinger's on deck.
It did have it,
And then
seemed like it
Cody
happened a
Bellinger
lot,
let off
yeah.
the next inning because Ian Happ couldn't get
Yeah.
maybe if they were switched in the lineup.
Now, this year, I somewhat understand just because when they were doing it, Seiya and Bellinger were both out, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But,
I mean, yes, you have to
Yeah.
do what you have to do when you don't have a full lineup, but when everybody's healthy,
yeah.
it shouldn't happen.
And like Bush was struggling and Swans was obviously struggling. Like, man.
It looked like Swanson was getting himself out of that last week. Had a couple nice games, and now he's back. Like,
he had a homer yesterday, and then he gets 2 hanging pitches that he did nothing with.
Well, and so I think this happened yesterday too. Like, that's a situation where, like, really need Dansby to move that runner over.
Yeah.
At a minimum. Like,
Yeah.
it's a hot day, so hopefully the ball can fly and you can put up some crooked numbers at some point in this game. But you got to get that runner to third base. Man.
Yeah.
He knows that, but
one thing I've noticed,
Got a break there.
like,
on that pitch.
and I know it's part of today's game, but man, the over dramatic framing of every single pitch by catchers it drives me nuts. So that's tough. No,
so now we got the runner over, but 2 outs. So
Those 2 outs. Yeah.
wrong order here for
Yeah.
them. But
Was it going to be a
Let's see.
Maya and then PCA? Yep. I like that PCA's in the 9-hole today. I hated the fact that he was in front of Amaya with how much Amaya was struggling. I think PCA could be really good as your 9-hole guy, like to turn the lineup over, you know? I know he's not hitting, but like
Yeah.
the speed factor, if he actually does get on base, I do think he can work some at bats to get some walks and stuff, but obviously they need PCA to start hitting, and it's just like you have to be patient with him.
I mean, you could pretty much say that 1 through 9 at this point. Looking at these averages, I'm like, I haven't watched a ton of Cubs baseball, few innings here and there, but this is like Stanley Cup final is ending in the next few days, then the NHL draft, and that's when I like usually around July 5th, 4th of July is when I could start focusing more on baseball. So,
yeah.
but I mean, they need to give me a reason over these next 10 or 12 days
Ooh.
to
Oh,
make
hard
me
hit
invest
today.
my time.
I thought Maya hit it hard there, but of course, right to first base.
So leadoff double, no runs.
Leadoff
That's a little frustrating.
Yeah.
That's
Honestly, these are the innings that frustrate me more than like the bullpen blowing it or whatever. They really do frustrate me more.
But that's because it kills you more than the bullpen.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, God forbid, you take a 5-run lead into the 9th inning once in a while and don't have to have that pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, leadoff double, you don't even get the ball out of the infield after that. That's just it's bad.
Yeah. John in the chat says Mount Rushmore of pitchers that he watched: Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez, and Greg Maddux.
It's hard to argue with that top 4.
John Lester better than all of them.
Hard to argue with that top 4, though. I mean,
Big Z had more passion than all of them.
Nolan Ryan was a master.
Yeah.
So I don't know who I would take off of that. It's
All
tough. Maybe Clemens because he's a cheater.
Cody and I are pro cheating.
Yeah, I love steroids.
Hey, I mean,
Steroids were awesome. Are awesome. Bring them back.
hey,
If people were taking steroids, they'd be hitting the ball. We wouldn't be a warning track team. All we do is hit fly balls to warning track.
Cubs
We're
would be-
taking steroids.
Cubs will be
we're hitting
losing
them
9-8 every game instead of 4-3.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm seeing on the timeline too. It looks like Nolan Arenado leaving the game looked like he got hit in kind of the elbow or forearm. That is happening a lot.
Boy, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Judge left the game the other night. Mookie Betts out for a while after getting hit on the hand. I feel like that's happening a lot lately. Pitchers with all that velocity, they're trying to go up and in and not quite getting it there.
Oh, the Mets are
CC in the
this weekend.
chat says, so they DFA'd Gomes and picked up another DFA'd catcher. Why does this keep happening? Well, we were kind of talking about it earlier, and Nito is like a defensive first catcher because if you go to his baseball savant, his catching is all red. Just to put it pretty simple, in the simplest of terms, it's in like all red. And if you don't understand what that means, like you want it to be red, not blue. That's the easiest way I can explain it. Yeah, the percentiles are good. Yes. I looked up his catcher framing rates and strike rate calls. Like he's right around the same as Amaya, actually a little bit better than Amaya. And Gomes was at the bottom of the league in those statistics. So the fact that I think they honestly DFA'd Gomes more so for the fact that his defense took a massive step back compared to his offense. I think if he was hitting like this, but the defense was still there, they wouldn't have done anything. But his defense wasn't good this year.
Well, he's at least he's caught 6 guys stealing this year. Tomas Nido.
Oh, yeah,
so
man.
that's more than that would be amazing if he can throw one guy out. So it's the defense, and it's also it's marginal upgrades. But how many times have we talked about how when you're playing a close game every night, throwing that one base runner out, getting that one extra hit, even if it's in 5 plate appearances, like that really does matter. And you can kind of see it with how much you felt like that bottom of the order has been a black hole at times, or teams are running all over. Or we saw the other night, the Cubs screw up the game partially because of Amaya's catcher's interference. You go back to some of those games a couple weeks ago, the wild pitches like in Milwaukee, stuff like that. Like that stuff matters. But also on the offensive side, like he's at a 79 WRC plus. For reference, Yan Gomes was at 17.
Yeah,
that matters, man.
Yeah.
It's even if it's another guy hitting at a below league average level, if it's a significant difference between what the other guy's been giving you, like that production might matter in the end. So it's not an exciting upgrade. And if this team has playoff aspirations, I don't know if this catching tandem is going to be good enough as is.
Oh, fuck.
Let's see about this.
Fly ball.
He's got it. We had another
PCA
Kyle Hendricks strikeout while we were talking, so that looks good. That's
was
really kind of the first
hitter?
It's kind of the first hard contact.
Yeah.
Is PCA committed to 52?
I hope not.
That's such a bad number.
It's
for
not
an
a good
outfielder.
number, yeah.
For
I feel like if
for a
he changed-
potential star player,
he's got too much swag for that.
Yeah, too much
Like
it's
swag.
a terrible
Yeah.
number. Like I look at 52,
Yeah.
like right when he turned his back, I'm like, why is Jim Bollinger playing center field? Like that's the first person I think of, and that's not a good thing. He needs to change that number. That's a terrible number. That's a spring training number.
Yeah.
We are
For a prospect that's not big.
back
like,
to the top of the
highly
order
touted.
here for the Giants. So let's see how Kyle fares second time through.
Second time through the order. 2 outs, no one on, so it's a good spot. You'd rather it be this than not, right? Tyler says that he digs the 52. All right, to each their own.
That's all right, Tyler. I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion, no matter how wrong it is. 52 is a pitcher number, though, like a middle reliever.
Yeah.
Like not even a
like
good
Keegan
pitcher.
Thompson, 71. Yeah. All right, he's got a 3-0 count here on Wisely. I would ideally like him to not walk him on 4 pitches.
When Ramos
we got one.
who is in the 2-hole or has been in the 2-hole for the Giants, probably their best hitter at the moment. So I wouldn't recommend walking someone in front of him, but another hard hit ball right at him. So that's going to work.
You go.
All right. So after watching those last 2 at bats, I would like the Cubs
couple
to score
more,
some
a
runs.
little bit more hard contact, but Kyle still hasn't no hits here. So we'll take that. Got another strikeout, and
someone needs to wake up
2-3
Carm.
now.
I think this has been his inning. Leave it to Carm to screw everything
you're
else
working
up.
overtime.
I
here,
guess
Greg.
so, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the tavern style, got to do multiple innings here. Then my own show. I don't know. I need to renegotiate my contract.
Massive loaf by Carm.
I mean, it's par for the course.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is anybody surprised?
Water is wet.
There's a Cubs game today. It's an important Bears meeting going on. They're always having meetings.
The Bears guys always have meetings. We have a Cubs meeting like once every other week.
We have Blackhawks meeting like once every other month.
Yeah.
We do most of our production meetings on the air, so we can get the input of our listeners.
There you go.
Hey, should we do this tomorrow? No. How about that? Okay, there we go. That's what we got.
See,
Good point in the YouTube chat. Sean Caselli says he wants Almonte to change his number and have PCA take 25. I don't know if PCA should have it. I do agree, though. The former number of Derek Lee, I don't think Yency Almonte has earned that distinction yet, even though I do like him. But
see, PCA to me, just
single digit.
That's what I was just gonna say. A single digit number, because he's got that long name on his jersey. The single digit would look great. Like,
I'm curious.
What single digits are available? 2's not available.
8 is not available.
7's not available. 9's not available. So that gives you. I mean, 1 would look all right. They're gonna upset Fukudomi fans.
The Giants have a 0.
They do. He just
Lively's wearing 0, right? Yeah.
Stroman wore 0.
Yeah.
Who?
Stroman.
I don't recall.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Okay.
Fair enough.
Here is the aforementioned PCA.
You can call Jeremy Burnett and see if he's allowed to wear number 3.
Jeremy Burnett.
Kyle Hendricks has 9 swing and misses after the 3rd inning.
Not bad.
That's not bad.
Too many 1s at the start of these Cubs batting averages. It's not good.
It's not what you want to see.
Not this time of the season. If it was April 19th.
It's a nice
There you
swing.
go, Pete.
All right. See?
There we go, Pete.
It's me calling.
Oh, and now he's running.
That is a nice
to running.
swing from Peter.
That swing would have looked better in a
One
single digit
Peter
jersey.
Crow.
He's
Only 85 off the bat, but we'll take it.
He's giving me crap for calling out his poor choice of jersey numbers. That's what it takes to light a fire under him. I'll show up tomorrow on 120 with a sign that says, "Pete, change your number, loser."
That's a good sign to see him
They're
get
gonna be,
a hit like that.
Yeah, they're going to be careful with PCA here. Would love to see him take second. Nico's a good guy to do what they didn't do last inning with Swanson, move him over to third, try to just get a run in. I'd love for like a bigger number than that, but with the way this offense is going, I'm just thinking about how to scratch across a run or two here.
Nico is a guy that I had on my fantasy team and kept him the last 2 seasons. So
not been good this year.
I mean, do I hold on to him or do I?
Depends how long they let him play with a fracture in his hand. Would be my answer.
Probably
to that.
not ideal. I mean, I'd love to see him put one in the basket right here.
Nico. Well, is the wind really blowing out? Like it kind of is. I don't know. Nico, when he hits homers, they're all like line drives. Oh, I would say my biggest concern with him with the bat, and we were kind of talking about it earlier, but like his ground ball rate is up this year compared to last year, and it's not like a massive, like, eye-opening thing, but like it's like 48%. The last 2 years, it was like 46.
Yeah.
So either way, he's still hitting more ground balls than his previous 2 seasons. So, like, I just need more line drives from him.
Here goes PCA.
There he
Easy.
is. PCA.
They ring him up at
money.
the plate.
Dude, this guy.
Oh, wow. I thought
this guy learns
like
how
that
to hit.
Motorcycle.
Yeah, this guy learns how to hit. He's gonna steal 50 bases.
Cubs got a break
least.
there because I think Nico should have been rung up on that pitch. That looked like strike 3.
No, it's umpires all over the place.
Yeah.
So
Robot umpires.
all right, move him to third. Get him in.
Screw that. Get greedy. Get a base hit. Score him.
Boom.
There it is.
You're
Good
welcome.
call, Greg.
You're welcome.
They're gonna hold him. All right.
All right. It's still.
It's probably
fine.
good that they held him.
Big inning.
Willie
Zero
Harris's
outs.
first ever hold.
Let's do a big inning.
Willie Harris's first ever hold.
They combined our two thoughts. You wanted him to get him over.
He
I
did
wanted to
get
get
to
a
third,
base
yes,
hit. He
yeah.
did both. He compromised. That's how
I
the
was
world
kind of
works.
hoping if they went your route, we'd just get a run. But
Yeah.
this is
Well,
fine.
you know.
Nah, that's a good hold from Willie. All right, say let's get him in here at a bare minimum.
Another Cub on my
Please.
fantasy team. So yes, I agree.
I have Saya as well.
Let's get a base hit. Find a gap. Clear the bases.
Ugh, Saya.
That's not the pitch.
Why on the first pitch, dude?
So the Mets come to town this weekend. Is Pete Alonso staying? Or better question, do you want
don't-
Pete,
Which
do
dugout?
you want
I
Pete
don't-
Alonso to stay?
I don't think he's staying this weekend. Do I want him to stay? It's not that I don't want him to stay. It's more like I just think there are better options. Or
I'm
I
not trading
think I would
prospects from our last
I would
place.
rather get Vlad Jr. if he becomes available. That's what I would rather have. But it's not that
It
I
all
don't.
depends on the cost, man.
That
I
too.
mean,
Like, and
he.
I just don't like. I was looking at his
I
numbers.
mean, I think Michael
recently.
Bush has been better than him.
He has.
Yeah.
He legitimately has.
So
The thing, though, is that they need another impact bat in that lineup. And if you traded for Pete Alonso, to me, you're DHing him every day. And that takes
I
away.
think the question is like, is that impact enough? He's been
Yeah.
good, 126 WRC plus, but like it feels like this team, and they don't grow on trees, but like
Right.
they need kind of more than that.
He hits homers. People see he has like
Sure.
14,
Yeah.
15 homers.
No, I get
you
it.
know?
I get it.
Like,
Depends
I
on the
don't know.
cost.
yeah.
It's only for the rest of the season.
I'm not trading
versus other
anyone.
options.
Anyone in the top 20, I'm not moving for him. And it's even, I don't even think he's worth a top 30 prospect, to be honest with you. So
Oh,
they just steal
it did.
second. All right, Nico. I love how this team is starting to get aggressive on the bases the last week or so.
I mean, it's so
Everybody's
easy.
doing it to them. Like, yeah.
And with the new rules and everything, it's there. Take it.
Yeah.
It's there.
The first, like, it wasn't talked about a ton the first month of the year because the team was hitting, but then like in May, they weren't stealing bases either. So I feel like in June here, they've really started to get aggressive on the bases.
That bat started like crap for Saya, but he's got it back to full count now.
Yeah. All right, Saya, you just got hit in the air, man. 3-2. Hit it hard.
No, don't you dare.
Yeah. We all
Don't you
thought
dare.
that the
That's a
umpire was going to
great take.
umpire. We
Great
thought
at
the
bat.
ump
All right,
show was
Cody.
coming.
Great at bat.
We thought the ump show was
I mean,
coming.
he didn't ring up Nico on an actual strike, so you get nervous when there's one out of there.
I
That
can,
dreaded makeup call.
I can hear the Cody chants from beautiful historic Wrigley Field all the way here in the West Loop.
Why not 33 consecutive successful steals for the.
They're chanting for Bellinger, though, not Del Mendo. I do want to be clear on that.
Are you sure?
the Giants having a meeting here. Matt Chapman telling the pitcher, don't give up a grand slam. That's the advice
Good
he's
advice.
giving him. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the best advice he can give him right now.
Hey, man, don't give up a home run right now.
One of my favorite things in baseball is when the pitching coach comes out, they have the mound meeting, and the very first pitch is like hit to the moon, and you're like, man, that was a hell of a talk.
Well, Tommy
there, coach.
Hotovy had a stretch where he was doing that, and then they would get like a double play like right away, and everybody was like, because you guys asked him that, didn't you? Like, what are you saying to these guys?
Oh, yeah.
It feels like every time you do that, you just get exactly the result you need.
Before we get to first pitch, what's your first pitch, bases loaded? You taking or you're aggressive and hacking? I always get pet peeve as the guy swinging at first pitch. I always take to a strike. Is that old school mentality?
I would be good with Cody hacking here just because the pitcher hasn't been like crazy wild or anything. We've seen some good swings from the group so far in this inning. If he had walked the bases loaded or every count he was running 3 balls, then yeah, I think you want to take.
Oh no,
Cody!
Fuck me.
Cody!
Oh, safe at first at least. That's
God, you didn't have to swing at that, dude.
Good point, Greg.
Would have brought in a run. If that had not been fielded by the pitcher.
Fuck, dude.
That
This
at
is
least had
gonna
gotten
be
through the
painful,
infield.
bro. This is gonna be
they are
painful.
inventing ways to not score
Oh,
runs every day.
man. This is how I have a mental breakdown when we're not on the live on YouTube watching the game. This is how I have mental breakdowns. God damn it. God damn it.
William in the YouTube chat says Cubs Mount Rushmore, Mike Olt, Milton Bradley, Tyler Chatwood, and Jock Jones.
Oh baby.
Oof.
And then
I named Jock Jones.
I see Chicago dude quadruple 8 says LaTroy Hawkins. That's if you're building a Mount Rushmore like that, LaTroy's got to be on it.
He's out.
Mine was
Cody.
God,
Tyler Chatwood. Wow, I haven't thought of that name.
He's
in a long time.
It's good.
No, it is good.
It's good for
That's
your
a good
mental
thing.
health. Yeah.
Caesar Sturris.
he's
Got to
on.
have Mel Rojas on there. You guys might be too young to remember
All
Mel
Cody's
Rojas.
banned. The summer of Cody is off.
This is all Cody Ford's fault.
Sorry, Del Mendo and also Rhodes.
And Cody from Zach and Cody. Screw that kid.
All right,
I mean,
Chris,
hopefully he
we
can
need you to
redeem
bail us
himself.
out
Big
here.
hit
Come
from
on,
Morel here
Chris.
gets everybody feels better about everything. And it shouldn't, though. A 2-out base hit with runners at second, third shouldn't be a big ask. I know it is with this team, but it shouldn't. Good teams do that all the time.
Yeah.
Good hitters do that all the time.
All right. 1-1 here. Chris. Come on, man. Hit it hard. Oh!
That's
Up
There
it.
it is.
Oh!
Throw it away.
Did he
Throw it
get
away.
Did it
Throw it away.
deflect that?
Does it get deflected?
I just can't.
That looked better off the bat.
Yeah.
It did. I
Did he
thought that
deflect
was.
that?
That had to be deflected.
Chat, tell us if he deflected that.
Oh, now you're gracing us with a presence.
So
huh?
here's the thing, though.
thought he hit
As
that
we
hard.
as we swap out our guests here, Cody, like second inning, you had a leadoff double, doesn't get over to third.
Yep.
With less than 2 outs, you don't score. Bases loaded. Thank you, Greg.
Yes.
I don't think it's
I
our
hope
fault.
it does. It can't be any worse. with
Third
Karn sitting
inning,
down.
bases loaded, no outs. You don't get any runs. Like, this is one of those things. Like, we can complain about the offense and their overall production. These are little, like, situational things that even bad offenses need to be able to capitalize on. That's why at the beginning of that inning, I'm just asking them to get the runner over and hit a sac fly. Like, I feel like we're not asking for too much. But if you'd been able to score 1 run in that second, even just get 1 off bases loaded, no outs, you're giving Kyle at least a little bit of a lead to work with. Instead, you've got nothing, which is like the story of the Cubs offense. Welcome to the fun, Karn.
Hey, Corey, how are you? Hi, Cody.
Hi, coach.
Listen, if I was the manager of the Cubs like I am of the CHGO softball team, they'd be worse. But I'd like to think that I could help in some way, shape, or form. I give major props to you both, the rest of the crew, Ryan and Luke and everyone that it's not it hasn't been easy for you guys here for a little bit now. But I keep on hearing that they have the same record this time last year. So, and they would have made the playoffs had they not collapsed down the stretch. So, what are they, a game and a half out of the wild card? Correct?
Something like that.
Game and a half
But
or two.
Can we rewind back as I just get a couple thoughts out here and then I'll shut up? If you could go back to last year when they were under 500 before they got hot, and at that point in time, you could have sold off. You could have sold Cody, whatever they could have gotten. I'm not saying there was some great market. You could have sold off Kyle at that point, whoever. Is there any part of you that wouldn't do that?
Like knowing that they're not going to make the playoffs anyway? Or no?
So, yes, I am.
If I knew that, it's hard not to answer that way. I think
how's this? I'll tell you that, yes, I'll tell you that you would know that they would, at worst case scenario, how many games out did they finish last year? 2? One game out. Okay, so I'll tell you this way: they're either going to make the playoffs and win the World Series, or the worst case scenario is they finish one game out. Would you have dealt at that point?
No. And so my answer is the same as it was last year. Like, when you're this team and you have the payroll that they do and the expectations that they do, you got to go for it. Like, you have to be trying to win and make the playoffs.
So you would have bought more?
Yeah. I think we argued at the time at that deadline they didn't do enough. They only got Jose Cuas. They didn't get enough of a relief core, knowing that they were relying on 3 relief pitchers every game to try to win games. And then those guys broke down and they missed the playoffs by a game. So another strikeout for Kyle Hendricks, by the way.
Let me ask you another question. Jed Hoyer's got the rest of the season and a year left on his deal, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Do you think that the Cubs have the right president / whatever you want to call him? I mean, I'd still call him the GM, even though there's a Carter Hawkins over there.
There's a quick out. Again.
I think he's going to answer that question in the next month or so.
So,
because he has got to kind of push some of his chips in and be a little more aggressive and kind of.
So you want them to be aggressive from here, not forward, not back.
The thing is that they're not set up to sell. Like, they could sell Mark Leiter Jr. Yeah, this deadline, they could sell Mark Leiter Jr. They could sell Mike Tauchman. And they could probably trade Bellinger, but you're not going to get any kind of.
You'd be selling low on it.
Yeah, you'd be selling low. Yeah. And that's not to say that Bellinger's been awful. He just hasn't played like a $30 million player.
Yeah.
Last year, could you have gotten something better for Bellinger and Stroman and Kyle and whoever else? Yeah, absolutely. But I kind of lean with Corey on that too, with the fact that
what happens if somebody wanted to massively overpay for Justin Steele? You doing that?
No.
Probably
I mean, it depends on what we're talking about.
Yeah, it depends on what you're offering.
In that regard. But you've got a Cy Young level pitcher who's not a free agent until 2028. That would have to be an insane package
to finish.
You need top of the rotation arms. So even if you were changing your timeline or whatever, Steele's the type of person you need on this team. You don't have. They've had enough trouble developing starting pitchers. I'm not getting rid of
to finish
their best success case so far.
To finish my point, I just don't think the Cubs should ever be selling if they're in it, because
they got to act like the Chicago Cubs.
Yes, because they are the Chicago Cubs.
Okay, but now they're not in it right now, by the way.
They are in it.
They're technically in it.
Technically
they are.
In it. In the wild,
yes, they are, but in last in their division as well.
But that could change literally in 5 games.
But they haven't made the playoffs
5 in a row.
I'm not saying that
another swing and a miss from Kyle Hendricks. Right. So wait, but
I'm not sure I'm buying.
And I'm not even saying that either. I'm just saying that they shouldn't sell. That's another strikeout for Kyle.
Yeah, so I was going to say, as we're talking about this, only the 4th inning here, you want to see some more here from Kyle. But even just that outing he gave you on, what was that, Friday, when Wicks left with the injury, this is part of the reason I was talking to our friend Brendan Miller about this. Everybody wanted to DFA Kyle, and a 1.5 game sample doesn't justify his starts earlier in the year or whatever. But I think part of, especially Brendan's argument when we were doing those episodes and everyone was yelling, was like, his stuff still looks pretty decent. The velo is there, the movement on the curveball, the movement on the changeup. If you can get him to produce at all, like you have in these last 2 outings, that's valuable.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that their front office didn't just, like half of Twitter was like, oh, he's washed, DFA him. It's like, maybe that was true, or I understand why people felt that way, but the value of figuring out any way to get value out of him is very important. And I'm not saying it's going to be like this the rest of the year, but this is a solid start so far. The team needs that. Guys are hurt. Your young guys are hurt. You need people that are able to fill in occasionally. And he's given you something.
And he was coming off an inning where he gave up a couple line drives that were hit to gloves, thankfully. So to have an inning like that is impressive. So
I don't know if you guys talked about it earlier. They showed a graphic when I was watching over on another screen that in the bullpen he was throwing way more curveballs. So maybe perhaps he was working on something that was off when he under less pressure, figured something out coming back if you want to be optimistic about it. But also to your point, Corey, like, look, Kyle Hendricks has earned the right to work through some things. Maybe he is washed, maybe he isn't. It ain't going to kill you to have him on the roster as somebody in that bullpen at all. I mean, what are we talking about here? It's not like they're stacked back there.
Right.
That you can't give him sixth inning opportunities here to figure it out.
Yeah. And, look, they're paying him more than you would like for a guy who's been in the role that he's been in this year. But yeah, there's just value in being able to figure him out at all. It doesn't mean you're going to rely on him to start necessarily every day, but you need that pitching depth. And as long as his stuff still looks somewhat reminiscent of what he's had throughout his career, there might be value there. And immediately I think the key issue of those early conversations earlier in the year was how quickly I think so many people were like, just DFA him, he's washed, he's done. And if they had, like you said, if they had a ton of better options, then okay, maybe that's a different conversation, but they don't. And this is why you kind of like see things through, let guys work through things. And there's another good swing from Ian Happ.
Get out.
There it is.
Happer.
Ian Happ, man.
Let's go. Ian Happ. He should have 2 homers today. Let's go.
We don't have like a
come to Milwaukee right now. Book your
like
trip.
confetti or something like that.
$99. Come to Milwaukee, June 29th. I know it's a whole day, but we're gonna make it worth your while. Like just get on the trip. Quit thinking about it. Hang out with the Cubs crew. Hang out with myself. Hang out with Braggs. We're gonna make it fun regardless. We're gonna beat the Brewers. They're gonna beat the Brewers. Whatever. I can wee it, I guess.
Go ahead.
To Joey's point 5 minutes ago, I hear what you guys are saying as far as you're the Cubs and whatnot, but like for the better part of my entire Cub fandom, it was always about making the playoffs. And I'm like, that's sweet when we made the playoffs in 98, and I know we're getting killed by the Braves. We have no chance. It's pointless to be here. I'll go earlier than that. In 89, Boys of Zimmer, that was a sweet team. They weren't good enough. It was obvious. Lost 4-1. It sucked. Like going to the playoffs and getting killed and showing enormous the great teams are here and you're down here. That ain't it. 03, that was different. They had Pryor, they had Wood, they had a legit chance. They could have won the World Series. That was
Dansby.
That was
the plate.
Okay,
Back
Dansby.
to back.
Oh, Dansby.
Basket. Let's go. Back-to-back days. Swanson's hit a homer.
Buy your trip to Milwaukee. Say it again, Kyle.
Buy your trip to Milwaukee, you cowards.
$99. Bus trip, booze to the moon, ticket to the game. Cubbies all of a sudden coming out of it. Damn
Dansby with a little more power, and that's 2 back-to-back days with a homer, both to the opposite field.
Still hobbling into the
Swanson.
dugout. He ain't right.
Dig it.
Slay.
Dig it.
He is not right physically. I think it's obvious.
Dansby?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know he's
Like,
playing
look
through a
at the
knee.
way he's moving right there.
What was it? What is this celebration
Yeah.
from Seiya in the dugout? I like this celebration
Yeah.
from Seiya in the dugout. I like this.
So
Well, so I know what you're talking about. I think the position that probably Cody and I would have in terms of just wanting to make the playoffs. This is how they're building the team, man. Like, if we wait for them to have another like superstar group, like we're gonna be waiting a long time. Those types of prospects are pretty young. They have a lot of top 100 prospects, but they don't have the Chris Bryant level. Like,
right.
this guy is going to win Rookie of the Year and MVP and all that other stuff. So this is how they're operating as a franchise. And so I think we have to like kind of, I don't want to say lower the bar, but like meet them at where they're putting the bar, which is like, if you're going to build a team that has like middling expectations, could go this way, could go that way, relying on young guys, unproven talent, blah, blah, blah. Like, then that's kind of what we got to hope that then we are going to set the standard. Like, okay, but you better make the playoffs. Like,
right. But I mean, I see where I want the pushback in, like, and this is, to me, it's similar to what the Bulls are doing. Like, the Cubs have basically pretty much said that they don't want to go to the bottom again. They don't want to go to where they were. And I'm sitting there, and I know this is a worthless argument, where I get it. But my whole point is, like, the only time you let yourself go to the damn ass bottom was the only time in your life when you weren't the Cubs. You let yourself be terrible. Yeah. You let yourself get the picks. You hit on the picks, and it worked, and you won the World Series. Why in the world would you not want to do that again? I understand the calculus has changed and more people are doing it, but you need.
Well, and you can't guarantee that. The pick anymore,
right? But you still need that. You can't guarantee it for multiple years, right? You can guarantee if you're at the bottom and you haven't been there, you're going to get it, right? Then
there's
the White Sox are the best pick they can get is 10.
What is it?
No, like the White Sox were top 5 last year.
So the other thing about that too is they kind of forfeited that right as a front office. They did the one rebuild that was promised to never have to have that happen again. And then Jed said this was a retool, not a rebuild. So it's too late. Right, You're already in this. You can't go to the bottom again. They can't.
Well, at some point,
they have not made a real playoff field in 6 years.
I know.
I don't count 2020 for a lot of reasons.
Right.
But so when you're the Chicago Cubs and you're running a $200 million plus payroll every year, like, sorry. Like, no, you got to figure out a way to be good.
I understand. Like, that's
I also think too, though, Carm, is that in baseball, it's different from like the NBA or the NFL. Like, the Diamondbacks went to the World Series last year and they won 84 games. Like, any team can get hot in October.
Yeah, but but now you're like going to the exception and not the rules. Like, the reason, like, yeah, okay, it can happen, but it's unlikely.
But it's happened in recent years.
I want them to build a team.
I do want them to build one that's a juggernaut. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm concerned that they are going to potentially try and juice everything out of this team, that there's not that much to juice. And I'm not saying I want them to sell, but I would be concerned about them potentially making big future altering moves.
They're kind of going to have to. They're going to have to, dude. Jed Hoyer hasn't won anything.
That's fine.
As a president of your team,
I wouldn't do
if
that.
they don't make the playoffs this year and you're Tom Ricketts, you have got to be looking at your president and asking him what is going on.
Is that what you want them to do?
Well, and so,
Joey, I want them to win. I'm not the one that built the team, and I don't get paid millions of dollars for them to be in this position. So,
I want them to win a World
Jed Hoyer's problem.
I want them to win a World Series, not to win a division.
Well, and so you just brought up another interesting point where, like, Jed, if he's the last thing you want in any organization in any sport is a guy operating under the pressure that he's got to save his job and not thinking long term. And I get there's short term and there's long term, and you're always battling that and what's best for the team, and that can be tricky. But that's why they get paid what they get paid. I just look at it like you got to live in reality. Like, who on this team, impact player, can you actually bank on? You really believe in, and who outside of that? If you don't believe it, then, well, look, let's do it. The odds are that I think strongly that you are not winning the World Series this year. So, and that is the ultimate goal. So what can you do now that'll best give you the chance to win a World Series as quick as possible?
Sign Juan Soto 6 months ago.
Well,
trade some of your prospect capital for an impact position player.
So I was going to say, Jed has been working toward the future. He hasn't been operating like he needed to save his job immediately. He always talks about it. Future, preserving the future. You gotta, I think a lot of people would say he sat on this list of kind of good but not elite prospects for too long. I also do, because it happened, I do want to note that over his last 7 games, it's not a ton, but Ian Happ's OPS is almost 1,600. And he's up to, I believe, a 124 WRC plus on the season. So he has very quickly gotten those numbers to come around. Now he's above his career numbers. So now he's again just an exercise in patience, and talking. And Dansby's a similar way. He's got a couple homers here. We've talked about it a lot, Cody. Like, these guys, they may not be those absolute superstars that you want this team to have, but there is a level of patience in, like, these guys have a pretty long track record of performing at a certain level, which was not what they were doing for the first 2 months. Yeah. And to just trust, like, in the end, they'll probably be around that level. They need to perform at that level. But there was just a lot of freaking out in those early couple of months. And
it didn't help that the team overall wasn't playing well.
Yeah.
But I agree with you.
Yeah.
Again, going backwards is pointless, but I'm just going to live in it.
I hear you. I mean, it's a fair argument.
The Cubs are in a organizationally. The Cubs are in a good spot. They don't have a Chris Bryant in the system. At least we don't believe that. That doesn't necessarily mean that's true. No one thought Justin Steele would be an all-star and be the ace of your staff. They could easily. Yeah. One of these guys could easily develop into
looks like
a player that's way better than what we all think. However, they have. Their farm system is in a spot that I don't think I've ever seen throughout my entire life. Like, even though they don't have a Chris Bryant in there, they still have the depth. They have the depth. They have a lot of guys that are talented.
Nice swing from Miguel Amaya.
Even back in like 2015, when they had one of the top farm systems in baseball, they just somehow, for some reason, decided that, we're going to stop developing players after like 2016. So. As long as they keep doing that, they'll be able to find some guys, hopefully, that you can put in, but also they do need to spend. They need to spend more money, man. Like that, like at the end of the day, even though they're a top 10 team in payroll, they also have a lot of dead money. Like Jed Hoyer was like signing Trey Mancini. That's $14 million of wasted money, And that's just one example.
I don't love how much PCA bunts a lot. I know he can get on with his speed, but I'd really like to see him swing the bat.
Same.
I think that constant, like, I'm going to bunt mentality,
They need to spend more money on high-end, better free agents, like high-end free agents that are available. And
those
instead of like in the mid
all the time. I just think
there were multiple of them available in this last
These big market teams, they're a lot of these franchise.
Never mind. I love PCA bunting. He should bunt more.
He just killed somebody. He just broke an arm.
Let's go. PCA.
Let's go. Milwaukee. We'll be drinking Blue Moon on the way. Let's go.
I love him bunting. I was just saying that.
Come in.
Also, just as we're like monitoring these numbers, like I do want to point out too, like Michael Busch has been really good for this team. Like he's up to a 130 WRC plus, 352 weighted on base average. Like that's a really solid looking trade for the Cubs. Jackson Ferris was a good prospect, but I think he's struggling. He's young. You never know with like those high school pitchers. It's always a risk. And I mean, you're at 240 plate appearances from Michael Busch. Like those are solid numbers.
Oof. Yeah.
Can you break down WRC plus for me for the 100th time that I still don't understand?
Well, so it's like
really easy metric to understand.
I understand.
It's run value created scaled to 100. So I like using it because it's very simple to understand where a guy sits relative to the rest of the league. Because when you look at certain things, like offense is down in the league. So like 30 years ago, you'd look at a lot of guys and go, you got to hit 300 as a batting average. But where does that rank amongst everybody else in the league? WRC plus, it's all relative to league average. So 100 is league average. So if Michael Busch is at 130, he's 30%, his run value created is 30% better than league average. So it's easier because a lot of those numbers out of context, it's like, okay, well, do we think 270 batting average is good? It depends. If nobody else is hitting over 270 in the league, then yeah, it's good. That's the, you kind of have to weigh like the pitching, I was going to say market environment that you're in, the run environment you're in. Like Matt Shaw is a good example of this. One of the Cubs' top prospects in the league that he's in. It's a very run, it's a pitcher heavy league. So when you look at his like OPS, it doesn't look good relative to what we want that to be, but he's hitting better than league average. So that's just sort of the environment that he's playing in. So that's why I like to use it. I think it's just an easy way to understand where they sit relative to the rest of the league.
So it's, in essence, it's also it takes in every offensive category: power, speed, batting average, yada, boils it all together, and then I got it.
And I think it's
Cubbies.
Oh
that
my
sucks.
God.
That's brutal luck.
Thank God we already scored 3 runs this inning.
That's brutal luck.
Oh, that is brutal luck.
On the CHGO softball team, we know when there's a liner hit, your first step is back to the bag, unlike PCA right there, which is not his fault, and I'm being mostly facetious.
He had a really good lead.
But he
there.
Did go back.
He just had a great lead because they were playing in.
His first step was out, and then he knew he was screwed. That's unfortunate. I mean, that's a long time to get to the bag.
He was halfway to third base.
Which
that is not a strike, sir.
You call that a strike?
Yeah.
When you're as fast as PCA, a la Joey Spathis the other night flying around the field. You didn't need that big of a lead, but anyway, that's unfair. Good job, PCA.
Like kind of like the things you've been bringing up, Carm. I think there's a lot of things the Cubs. There's a lot of things the Cubs can obviously do better. I just think that organizationally, they're in a healthy spot. They just need to be more aggressive. Whether that's on Jed or if that's because ownership doesn't want to freaking spend more money, even though they're a top 10 team in payroll.
That's what I'm asking.
But
so what does being more aggressive look like?
On the trade market? Something. Do something.
Are you talking about now or like ever, Joey?
I'm talking about now. I understand that we went through a couple years where we were upset with the inactivity of ownership in the front office, which I would argue for a time was necessary for them to sort of reset things. I mean, I don't think any of us maybe it lasted a year too long. But right now, 2024, yes, they're 8th in payroll. They're not going to jump to number 1 in one season without, some of the homegrown guys getting big extensions. But I'm looking back to this offseason. What would be more aggressive? And I'm not saying that to defend Jed, but I'm not sure like what all the obvious moves are.
Well, but it's I don't know that you can kind of crunch it into just that time period. This is stuff that builds up over time. There have been a lot of guys that have been traded for packages that the Cubs have a lot of those types of prospects. You look at like the Sean Murphy trade, 2 catchers moved, Sean Murphy, William Contreras, that are really good hitting catchers while you have a dumpster fire behind the plate.
Yeah.
You let Wilson Contreras go. That was your choice.
Hated it.
You look back, I mean, even guys, now these are years ago and they're getting up there in age. But like Goldschmidt, Arenado, Christian Yelich, these are all guys that moved, like none of them for prospects that we look back on now and go, oh, they got fleeced in that trade. So these are things that like build up over time, and Jed is the one making the decisions to extend and kind of bloat his payroll with good but not great players. So these are all things that like build up over time. And I think, again, you look at last year, like they didn't need to go and trade for the best reliever in the league, but they needed to do more than just trade for Jose Cuas. Coming into the year, they only signed Hector Neris to this bullpen to kind of bolster that bullpen, and you're seeing how that's going. Now, a lot of that is
That
like
to me is
Julian
more on the
Merriweather getting
margins
hurt,
in a
et
way.
cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Sure, but that's the thing. When you build a team the way that they've built it, you have to be
100%.
perfect on those margins. So there's a lot of different like specifics you could look at, but at the end of the day, he has a very expensive middle of the road
Mid-team.
roster. Like, so that's on him. Like, I'm not the
Right.
one that gets paid $5 million or whatever.
And
to
that's
make
why I
those
said,
decisions.
like, should I blame ownership for not letting him go over the luxury tax,
Yes.
or should I blame him for not signing better players?
Yes.
You know,
Yes. I think it's a double. Here's my. I'll just put this out there, and it doesn't. Again, the past doesn't matter. But back in the day when they sucked, they would always make dumbass trades like
it's another swing and miss on that changeup from Kyle Hendricks.
Kyle's
it looks
got it,
it's
man.
dancing. They would always make dumbass trades like let's trade Dontrell Willis and company to the Marlins for Juan Pierre, who, by the way, played well throughout 200 hits and hit at the top of the order on a 58, 67, whatever it was, win club. You weren't close enough. You're giving up young talent to get a veteran who's not going to make a difference. Now, if Jed does another deal, if Jed does a deal like that where he trades from the surplus of talent and he gets somebody who's middling, and he ends up giving away somebody who goes on to be super successful and is young, I will be screaming that the dude needs to get fired. Because you could go back in time. You passed on Kyle Schwarber for Jock Peterson. If I was Tom Ricketts right then, I would have said, you're fired right now. This guy was a World Series hero. You didn't want to pay him an extra $1 million more, and you went out and you took.
But that was Tom though.
Well,
Tom was the
I
one
would-
that was throttling the money.
Well, then I
on
would've
Kyle specifically.
then I would have resigned at that point if I was Jed. Like, you're not going to do that.
Well,
to me.
yeah, that's why. I mean,
Like that's.
I think we don't really ever know, but that's why Theo left. He was like, I'm not making these decisions.
I mean, that is just that was an unbelievably absurd. And if that really was how that went down, because what did they save $1 million on Jock Peterson? If they were operating that thin on the margins, well, then you deserve what you get over there. And it's insane.
in some ways, you can argue they should have kept Jock Peterson because he's been a pretty solid player ever since he's left the Cubs.
Right.
No
I
one
think
talks
there's-
about
I
it
think
because he's
there's
like a
some-
veteran
I think
guy.
there's some prospects that the Cubs. I would be surprised if Jed Hoyer moved. I do think they have a lot that, with the way the roster is built, they don't really have room for them to play right now. And I don't necessarily think it would be the type of stuff where people would freak out if they moved on from them. Like the Nelson Velasquez, Jose Cuas deal looks like a loss for everybody. Velasquez hasn't been good. He had some homers last year, but he hasn't been good for
He's
them.
like 8 this
Jose
year.
Cuas was DFA'd. But he's been like a below league average hitter. It's fine.
Cuas
You
has
look
been
at
so bad
guys
that
like
he could easily be outrighted back to AAA.
yeah, like you look at guys like even Canario, who when he's hitting doesn't come up. When he is up, he barely plays. Like, you do have a good amount of those guys where it's like there's not a lot of value in just sitting on them and letting them tear up AAA. You gotta move around a little bit. But before we continue on that, though, we are through 5 here, and Kyle Hendricks looking
Really good.
very nice. Cody,
He
there is
literally gave us what I was hoping.
I just don't like to get yelled at. I'm not sure I believe in these things, but I don't like to get yelled at. So I will only phrase it this way. There is a very interesting number in the middle of the line score, if you wanted to look at that for the Giants. If you look in the middle, the graphic they're showing on Marquee now, the middle number for the Giants, very interesting.
This is where we will agree with Carm on this, that we don't say anything. I know Carm has to feel that same way.
Yeah, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I have no clue what's going on. I do know that Kevin Wells has walked in the building, one of our fine contributors, producers.
Has he always had this mustache?
No, he hasn't always had this mustache. He looks. I wasn't 100% certain it was him.
He just winked at me. I'm like, is he just leave a like?
Kevin also
like.
Kevin also works for WGN Radio, and we played them in softball on Monday that you weren't there, Cody.
Yeah.
And Kevin was playing center field when I came to bat. And he started creeping in on me to the point that he was almost on the infield dirt. And I would like to personally say on this show that I was supremely offended to the point that I bombed one over the left fielder's head because he pissed me off so much.
And I would like to say that I did the same.
Yeah.
He did it. He took it personally.
Wells gave no respect to CHGO. None.
And then he has the audacity to come in here.
And then just walks in all comfortable with his mustache. It's messed up.
At least
Then he was complaining about that we were taking too many walks, which we were.
This umpire is a mess today. Just as a brief aside.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay.
He did take too many walks.
If you can't throw the ball on the plate, then that's on you. What can I ask you about Morel? What would you do with Morel?
Well, we've talked about that a lot, but you gotta just stay with it.
Yeah.
So as we've said, when you need results, and again, this is part of building a team that doesn't have those, for sure stars hitting in the 3 or 4 spots. So when he's been hitting cleanup for most of the year, like absolutely, you need the results. You can't look at the under the hood data and stuff like that. But he's cut his K rate by 10%. He's upped his walk rate by 3 or 4%. Hits the ball hard. 25 years old, I think, in like 5 days here.
Yep.
I think if he sticks with the process, he's going to get some really good results as a hitter. That being said, when you're struggling as an offense and he's been the cleanup hitter for the entire year, people aren't going to care about that, and the team doesn't care about that. You need the results. So it's a tricky area to square. I believe in him very much as a hitter long term. Should he be hitting cleanup, and does that hurt the team when he's not getting those results right now? Absolutely. So,
well, that's not his fault that he's hitting cleanup.
No, it's not. It's Jed Hoyer's fault.
Yep. All right.
Morel's. We've said this.
Sold, Corey. I'm down. Keep Morel.
We've said this before. Morel should be an added bonus to this roster, not someone that Becky is saying sucks in the chat because he doesn't do anything. All right, or he didn't do anything in this particular moment. That's my thing. He's a 25-year-old power hitter who has shown to make incredible adjustments, something that not all players can do. Corey talked about the decrease in strikeout rates, the decrease in strikeouts overall, obviously, and the walks going up. He already has more walks this year than he did last year. He just, he's still, despite the fact that he hasn't, his batting average and the slugging percentage are down, he still has more home runs than anyone on the team.
I think you'd like if he, as you said, he should be an added bonus. If you had those stars, or if you could really just get consistent production. Now we're seeing Ian Happ heating up. You're seeing Michael Busch really putting a long string of consistency together. Sayas look better. If you could have that, you'd like Christopher Morel right now to be hitting 6th or 7th. And when those results start to match the expected data and the process that he's going, you're thinking, wow, great. Now we have a really deep lineup. Maybe we move Christopher Morel, et cetera. Instead, he's been hitting in the 2 or 4 hole basically for most of the year, which puts a lot on him to get the results now. As you said, it's not his fault, but that's how the roster was constructed.
All right, guys, hold on. I'm going to jump in here. We got Grilling with Dad. I just threw him on the screen. He's
what's going on, guys?
We can't hear him, but people watching at home can. And so he's trying to get our layout good. We got Grilling with Dad.
What's up, Grilling with Dad?
He's out on the balcony right now. He's showing off.
Look at that.
So he can talk.
Look at that. Getting these guys nicely grilled up. We're going to make some pork tenderloin sliders, little barbecue sauce.
Damn, that looks really good.
Oh, yeah. These smell really good out here. Really
Does
good.
it? Smells really good. Oh. I'm watching him more than I am the game at the moment. Let's go. I can't. I'm told he's going to bring
there
some
from
in.
Grilling with Dad.
Oh yeah, brother. Let's go.
Looking forward to that.
Oh fuck.
That is a hard hit ball.
Oh, almost caught.
There goes the no hitter. See, now people are going to say I jinxed it. It's the first batter after
What was
I
your
said
favorite part of the no hitter?
I didn't say no hitter. I also don't believe in jinxes like that. But
Team, I got to go eat Grilling with Dad, so Kevin's going to step in here. Thank you for indulging all
thanks,
my
Carm.
Cubs thoughts that are dated back to 1984.
It's all good.
Appreciate it.
Carm.
Carm's going to rehire
Bears.
Jim Hendry.
Bears.
Carm was just ejected, similar to the
All right,
WGN
this
catcher
guy
the other
jumps
night.
in with his mustache.
Somebody called me Tom Selleck today at work.
Oh,
I don't think I'm there yet.
I
but
like the stash.
I do
thanks.
like the stash.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Doing a little change it up summer look. I don't know if it's forever. I think I golf better with a mustache.
So here's the thing: is our guy Kevin Wells joins us here.
Please catch the ball.
So these are some hard hit balls. Here's the thing, and I'm assuming Craig Counsell is aware of this. You've gotten a very nice start from Kyle Hendricks here. You're starting to see the ball get hit a little bit more. I know you would love to get 6 innings out of him, but you only have a 3-run lead. And this is where those extra runs that you weren't able to scratch across start to, well, they hurt, of course, but they also change the way you manage the game. You have to manage this game now to make sure you win. That sounds stupid when I say it. But if you can scratch across those extra runs, you can look at Kyle and say, okay, maybe he's giving up a little more hard contact, but let's see how many innings we can get out of him here. Now you're in a situation where you have to be really, really careful. Tying run going to come to the plate here.
Robert Fox says, get Kyle out now, please.
Do
we have anybody in the bullpen? They're not showing it on the yes, we do.
I was going to say, you got a fresh Drew Smiley, and he'll give you at least 2. Yeah, you're right. The 70 pitch mark for a guy who's been coming out of the bullpen for 5 weeks now would be a smart move. Hard contact. If you're up 5-0, you'd love to be able to say, all right, we got a little bit of a cushion. Let's see how much we can get out of Kyle. Can't manage it that way. You only got 3, and this is another one. You know, the offense is leaving a ton of guys on base. You kind of have to manage this game thinking, how do we make 3 runs work? I would not assume that they're going to score more runs. What do you think Tommy Hotovy, when he goes out to the mound, a conversation like that looks like? Because I've always wondered what a pitching coach goes and says to a veteran in that moment, like, hey, you got 2 outs to get here. We are going to pull you. Or, hey, we want you to go another. I don't know. I'm always curious what you guys have talked to Tommy. What do you think?
We asked him.
Yeah. What do you think he's saying?
I wish I could remember exactly what he said, but it's not like he just goes out there and says pitch better. I'll just say that much.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great interview we had with him before the season.
I gotta say, man, I love Kyle Hendricks, and I've loved watching this outing has just.
I want him to get this double play here, so we can say that he threw a quality start.
He
it would be his first of the year, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
When, of course, now, and here's the thing, like now this 3rd time through the order, as we said before, Ramos has been the Giants' hottest hitter. Like, it's a dangerous spot. So,
yeah, he's been on fire, man. He's been a pretty great.
Yeah, I picked him up for my fantasy team. I would prefer he not get a hit here, but
he's been pretty outstanding.
And like I said it at the beginning of the stream, like last year, Hendricks
from Jim
shoved at Oracle against the Giants. So he has good success against this team, has similar players on the roster from last year. So,
all right, smart pitches here, Kyle. That was not a smart pitch, but he got away with it.
It broke really late, and you could tell by the defensive swing from Ramos there. Yeah, he's been really good on the righties today with the pitch on the outer half, lower part of the zone. That changeup, man, is a thing of beauty when it's working. Maybe it's the warm weather. I don't know. There it is, but he missed a little low. The Cubs have asked a lot of Kyle Hendricks this year. And I know he hasn't been good, but they have asked a lot of him. They've asked a lot of these pitchers to keep changing rotation spots like this.
It's hard, yeah.
A lot of injuries. Oh, there it is. Give it to me.
Come on.
Come
Dansby
on.
Solo.
Oh, come on, Dansby.
So a run comes across. I think that was the only way to do that.
Was
though.
it the
if he
only
had
way?
flipped it to Nico, I'm not sure that gets
it
there.
wasn't hit.
Did he not hit it hard enough?
No, it wasn't hit hard at all. The grass kind of slowed it up a little bit too.
Let's
but
see this. Yeah.
A good throw gets him though.
Let's see.
He's throwing off balance. He's moving to his right, so that's a tough throw.
Yeah.
Would he have had him?
A really good throw.
All right, so that's it from Kyle Hendricks. Okay. Very nice.
Absolutely deserves this.
Excellent.
Standing ovation. Would have liked him to come out with no runs allowed, but
excellent stuff from Kyle Hendricks today.
Yeah.
Final line for one Kyle. It's going to be 5 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. That is a hell of an outing.
As long as Smiley gets
Hendricks.
this last out, because that guy on first will count.
I think I saw going into this inning to 13 swing and miss from Kyle today.
We looked earlier. After 3 innings, he had like 9.
Which is that's very promising. And above average for him for sure. I wonder, and this is a conversation for.
He got 14 whiffs today. 14 whiffs on 37 swings from Kyle Hendricks. The most coming 7 whiffs on that changeup, 3 each for the sinker and the curveball. Very nice from Kyle Hendricks.
That is what you want to see every time. I will say, I think this is a question for a couple weeks down the road, probably more like a month down the road, because Jordan Wicks is really going to miss some time. But Kyle seems to be comfortable in these early innings. I don't know. And that was always the role I envisioned him in. The Cubs were never going to move to a 6-man rotation, but using him as an opener a little bit more. And I think 5 strikeouts and 6 in the first 2 innings. Maybe that'll be something that they, instead of using him in later leverage moments, maybe that's something they pull from this. I'd love to hear Counsell's reaction to that, because he said yesterday when they were talking to him on the score, it was, hey, here is 27 outs. Yes, there's a little bit of luck involved in baseball, but an out is an out. They're all equally as difficult to get. That's how Counsell views the game. So I don't know if he believes in leverage in those sort of things. I'm sure he does in a way, but moving Hendricks up to that opener opportunity seems like a pretty seamless transition, in my opinion.
All right. Smiley comes in, gives up a hit. Smiley's been
and so
really good. Not worth the $9 million.
This is a very expensive tandem that the Cubs are throwing today. This is one of those things where we've talked about it a lot. The pitching staff needs to do their jobs. You need to be able to hold leads and get the outs, and sometimes you need to make it work with 2 runs, 3 runs of offensive support. But this is another one of those days where the Cubs have left so many opportunities to add on the bases, not getting runners over, that double play, at bad luck on Nico and PCA trying to get back. It's just bad luck, bad spot to hit that ball in that moment. But we just see it a lot with this team, where you feel every one of those base runners that they weren't able to get over or bring in or get that extra run, tack on that one extra hit to give this pitching staff a little bit of room. I'm hoping Drew gets out of this and we don't have to worry about that today, but you feel it already. I mean, winning run at the plate now, lead run, not winning run, but.
Yeah, this is a big out. This feels like a turning point in the game. This feels like a moment where,
Ronnie, this feels like a turning point.
I got to say, I was listening to the radio on the way in, and for most of this game, there's a nice swing and a miss. Good pitch on the outer half. Pat and Ron are having so much fun. You could never tell that this team was struggling as much as they are. Having so much fun with their ad reads, with Zach telling stories about Willie Mays. I mean, it's just an incredible broadcast. Love those guys. Great.
Nice
got him.
Drew.
Let's go,
All
Drew.
Right. That's a big out.
All smiles.
Okay.
You feel pretty good about that. That's
I can breathe.
Who do we have to beg for an insurance run here?
Right. I'm once again asking for insurance runs.
Can you guys tell me what happened in the bases loaded? I missed that. I was on a call and I couldn't hear. The Cubs loaded the bases and scored no
Bellinger
runs.
hit one back to the pitcher and they threw
Double
it home
play,
in the first.
Challenge.
That's a microcosm of the season, isn't it?
They did challenge, and they called the runner. They called Bellinger for at first safe, but they challenged and he was out.
Yeah,
I would call that outing for Kyle Hendricks a legacy outing.
That was awesome.
Like,
it's big. It's big. Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm mainly happy for him as an individual, because
he's one start closer to getting that with that tenure or whatever he's working towards.
I mean, it's just I understand he hadn't been good this year, but there's just so many people that have been saying that he just hasn't, that he's not good, that he's never been good. Like it's even reached levels of like people saying that he just hasn't even been good the last couple of years. And the last couple of years it was injury, and then he was good last year. So like I understand when you're hurt, like that you're not providing the team what it needs, but you can't blame a guy for an injury, you know? This year, yes, he hasn't been good. The first 2 months of the year, he hasn't been good. In June, out of the bullpen, those 4 innings when he came in for Jordan Wicks were great. And then today, in a game that they absolutely needed it. They absolutely needed him to come out there and give them quality innings to potentially win this series. The first series outside of beating the White Sox, which again, I don't count. They had no business winning those 2 games.
You don't get any credit for
that. You don't get no credit for winning those 2 games because first you trailed by not 1, not 2, but like 4 or 5 runs in each of those games. And then outside of that series, you haven't won a series in like a month and a half. All right. So the fact that he came out here and to help to potentially or to do his job to put this team in position to win the series, I'm just happy for him as an individual. Obviously,
Absolutely.
I'm happy for the team as well. But
and this is another one where I would have to even look. I'm sure the chat can help us out. I mean, when was the last time a Cubs starter threw up a dud?
Shota
in
like the other
day. It was a couple weeks ago.
I swear, like we talked about this. Like
he gave up a lot of home runs.
Shota the other day was great. His last start.
It was you
said give up a dud. I thought you said. Yeah. I thought you said when was the last time the Cubs starting pitcher got a dub?
Oh no.
Dansby
pretty
back
good.
2-homer game. Ooh, into the corner.
Oh, no, you are right though. Shota start like 3 starts ago. He gave up a couple of home runs.
So what I'm saying though is like this from Hendricks, and I count the one on Friday with him and Wicks. That's still the starters in my mind. This starting staff has been so good for this team, and I think it's best exemplified. Like the point I'm making in Justin Steele, 4 of his last 5 starts, quality starts. His record in those games is 0-1. These starters are doing everything that they can for this team, whether it's Kyle Hendricks, Shota Imanaga, Justin Steele, Jamison Tyone has been quite good over his last several months of pitching for this team. These starters are doing everything that you can. But again, we sit here in the 6th inning, and instead of being able to focus on how good Kyle Hendricks was and another good outing from this starting staff, you're clinging to a 2-run lead. And we all have to kind of, as Pat Hughes would say, fasten those seatbelts for how these next 3 innings are going to go with this bullpen. So the takeaway there can be whatever you want, but the main one is that these starting pitchers have been really, really good. Even Javier Assad, who is only going 4 or 5 innings at a time, still giving you 4 or 5 innings, 2 runs or less.
Just keeping you in the game.
This starting staff almost every single day is giving you opportunities to win games. And this offense and this bullpen need to find more consistency in paying that off for them, because they are not going to be able to be that good every time through the rotation. It's asking a ton.
Yeah, you're right. You can expect regression from a handful of those guys, right? Kyle Hendricks isn't going to do this every time. Kyle Hendricks probably not in the rotation in about a month whenever they get somebody back. But the 2 guys I think you can rely on that have shown you consistently that regression, they've said, what's regression, is Justin Steele and Shota. I mean, Shota's been great. I'm pretty confident. Starting pitching is the hardest thing to find in Major League Baseball. Consistent starting pitching and developing that is really hard to do. They've done that, but you're right. You just need a couple guys.
Michael Busch.
My guy, Michael Busch. That's the over. 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs.
So, and
Let's
this is one of those things, we talked about too, like when you were coming into this season and you were relying on younger guys and giving them an opportunity. One of the key things about this season, regardless of how they, whether they make the playoffs, anything, you need to see development from those guys. That's important because as we talked about, you tie up part of your salary in longer term guys, et cetera, that you need to be able to find those guys who are arbitration eligible or even pre-arb guys that are able to produce for you. And right now, Michael Busch is a very positive development. As you go forward here, whatever Jed does with the roster, whatever happens here, you need to be able to slot in a certain number of guys that aren't making $20+ million a year That's the only way to succeed in Major League Baseball at this point. Like, you have to be able to find those guys that produce before they're making a ton of money. That's how the Cubs were able to win the World Series in 2016. They were able to spend that money on what they really needed. Guys like Ben Zobrist, bringing over Jason Hayward, yada, yada. But even signing John Lackey, John Lester, like making those moves was because you were getting MVP level production out of your third baseman who was not making any money. Like, that's the way that works. So this Bush development is a very significant one, even out of the context of whatever is happening for the 2024 Chicago Cubs. It's a big development as we go forward, just as an organization.
Yeah. Yeah. When Bush hits, man, he hits the ball really hard. I mean,
and when he even, like, I know the K rate is high, and I think as he gets more plate appearances and at bats, I think he can get that K rate down. But he gives you great play appearances because he walks, he hits the ball hard, he's hitting the ball over the fence, leads all rookies in home runs.
Yeah.
Like, this goes back to, we're talking about Pete Alonso, all the, like, I get someone like Vlad Jr. since he has another year of control, but like, why? We don't need a first baseman or a DH. We need an impact player, but we don't need a first baseman. We have a good player. We have a who potentially could be great. Like, I don't know, man.
On the flip of the coin, you talk about development, and the Cubs, we talked about it Friday at Almost Home, Cody, how they needed to, I specifically said they need to pivot and get a catcher now. That can't wait till the deadline. They went and did that today.
Yeah, we were
they
talking
have
about
not
it
seen any development from Miguel Amaya. It's been horrendous. That at bat was horrendous. That swing and miss on a pitch right. I mean, he missed that off-speed pitch by a mile. This run out here is big. We'll see if Pete can come through. He's been really struggling. I think he's he bunted.
His 2 hits today. He hit one to the left in his first.
He came into the day, one for his last 14 or 15. Miguel Amaya has really, really disappointed me.
He's definitely disappointed everyone. Because I
just hope that you just wish one thing would come along. You wish either the defensive side would come along a little bit or the bat, and both have been well below league average.
So as we watch PCA here, hopefully can get this run in. Just going back to what we were talking about before, if you go to the start of that Reds series in Cincinnati, that 4-game set against the Reds on the 6th of June. So, almost nearing a couple week sample here. The Cubs starters, that's 12 starts, a 2.58 ERA for your starters. Their record in those 12 starts, earned record, not the team record, the starting pitchers, 2-4. So they've only earned 2 wins as a staff, and they've eaten 4 losses despite having a 2.5 ERA over the last 12 starts. Smaller sample, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of, like, that's a long stretch where your starting staff has been really, really good, and they're just earning more losses than wins based on how your bullpen and how your offense is performing. And that's another runner left on second base.
So there's so many examples you can point to from that stat you just read, but really I think of that Rays series in particular, you got 3 pretty damn good starts. You only won 1 game.
Yep.
So it just feels like that's the way it's gone all year, and it can't continue that way.
Right.
Will
and
it
eventually,
that way?
at some point you need the offense and the bullpen to pick up those starters. So not only are they not paying off those really good starts, but you're going to have starts where guys give up bad starts. Like, that's going to happen. Like
it's like when Shota gave up 7 against Milwaukee.
Like they're going to have bad outings. You can't expect these guys to be perfect every night. If you're not able to pay off the nights where they are close to perfect, that's going to make it a lot tougher. And today, right now, they're holding on to a tight lead, 6 left on base so far, 2 for 11 for the Cubs with runners in scoring position. So
yeah, it's just not good enough. I mean, you're playing a team that is in the wild card picture, but you want to look at this team as a playoff contender, and you want to forecast what they're going to do in big games and games that you need to win. And right now in a 3-1 game, you still don't feel great about how things have gone with all the opportunities you've had. And we said that ad nauseum. How many times? Like, you just don't feel good about some of these wins.
This is one, this is an important, we talked about this 9-game homestand as a real opportunity for this team to turn things around a little bit. Obviously, you lost the first series to start this homestand, and this is the rubber match today. And as we talked about, everybody you're playing on this homestand are teams that you are in this dogfight for that, the bottom of that NL wild card for. You got to take care of business against these teams. That one extra win today against the Giants to win this series, as we saw last year, that's the type of stuff you look toward the end of the year. And we knew it when the Cubs played the Diamondbacks at the end of last year in September. You knew that series in Arizona was going to pay dividends, and you needed to beat them when you had a chance to hand them losses, and you didn't. And then you look back on it and you're like, well, whoops, wish we had won one of those games. So
right.
Need to
they had plenty of games on the list this year that they should have won.
Yeah. So they need to be flying the W and singing the song at the end of this day. So
I'm like baby stepping it. I just want to win a series and then go forward,
Uh-oh.
Okay,
really positive.
Smiley back out there. I think if Smiley can go 1, 2, 3 here in the 7th would be huge, because I don't mind Hayden coming out there for the 8th.
You got to be careful with Hayden, though.
I agree.
He's been giving up
I know
a lot of
he's been giving
home
up
runs.
too many homers of late. Up until the other day, he had only given up one, or he had only been giving up solo shots.
Just missed. I like that spot. I like that location. Just missed it up top. Yeah, right. Hayden Wisniewski. I know a lot of us like him, and I think we all love his sweeper, and we said that that's one of the best pitches on the team. But again, he's still a young pitcher. He's still raw. He's still going to go through these stretches. I think that the Cubs just put so much stock in these young players and they thought Hector Neris would be a nice veteran force,
not
back
a complete
there.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah, which I think is a fair bargain, but man, he's been horrible. I mean, you don't have a fill-in for your Michael Fulmer last year. Fulmer came in and was rock solid before he got hurt.
Matt Clapp just tweeted.
I'm looking at that too.
Yeah, he just tweeted where he ranks among first basemen, and I think as far as WAR,
yes,
he is the 6th highest WAR among first basemen in baseball.
Yep,
behind Lamonte Wade Jr. for the Giants, Christian Walker, Salvador Perez, Freddie Freeman, and Bryce Harper.
Do you guys remember looking through his preseason ZiPS projections? Bush was I was pleasantly surprised. I knew he was a pretty solid player. There was a lot of prospect guys who were like, wow, this guy needs a shot, and he got one. Yeah. But he was projected at a 120 WRC plus. And I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just said that he was insanely blocked. He was behind Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani.
132 WRC.
I guess the Dodgers could have played him at second base, but
Well, that goes back to your argument is, if the Cubs really do feel that they are a Pete Alonso away from cutting down on these one-run losses, can you find another spot for Bush? Do you want to keep him developing at first where he's been really good? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
I think they need it. I would rather. It's tough. They just need an impact bat, and there's
nice
Bush is a guy that I want to be here. He was part of a major trade, and he's been their not even arguably he has been their best offensive player.
He's their most valuable hitter right now. Yeah,
but you have all these outfielders. You got Nico and Dansby up the middle, and they're I don't think Nico is untouchable. And Morel, we know he can't be the third baseman long term, but how do you feel about Shaw? All these things.
Well, we know how they feel about Shaw. They really like him. It's just Council said it yesterday. We're not in the place where we're ready to make that move.
Well, and as always, because a lot of people I ask in the YouTube chat and stuff like that, it was the same as, with PCA as well. They're going to, you have to balance what the MLB team needs and how it fits into a guy's development. And for some of these guys, Matt Shaw, Owen Casey, they're big time prospects. They're not going to put them into a situation that they don't feel they're going to succeed in just because the MLB team has a need. If they don't feel like they're ready to hit MLB pitching or to be in this environment, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think we should
that's
support that. I think we should support that. Like
that's like a good.
You want them to be aggressive, but you also need to trust them a little bit in not putting a guy in a situation that's going to have an adverse effect on their overall development.
That's a good rebuttal to me and my bitching about not being aggressive. So,
and it doesn't mean that they're always going to be right. I don't like to do like an appeal to authority like that, as though they can't be wrong about that. But these are young guys that you're hoping have a very long future for the Chicago Cubs. You don't want to miscalculate that, and you don't want to start them off on a wrong note.
But Cody, your frustration is warranted because calling up Miles Mastrobuoni makes sense to keep him as a bench piece. That's their thought process. I understand their thought process. I just completely disagree with it.
Well,
bring up a guy who can hit.
Well, the thing is that Tauchman, who you were playing every single day, that's a terrible strike call that Smiley desperately needed.
Horrible call.
Right. Tauchman's hurt.
Tauchman was hurt, is out. He's going to be out 4 weeks, and you were playing him every single day. And to replace him, you bring up a guy that you're purposely going to sit at the end of the bench. That's my problem with it.
I totally agree with that.
Who's been a negative WAR player this year.
Wow.
Drew is getting bailed out here.
Wow.
That is a horrible call.
Yeah, Melvin does not
I mean, the umpires,
that.
we've been talking about it the whole game. The umpire's been bad the whole game.
He's considered, good pitcher friendly.
The strike three call. I know this wasn't the guy behind the plate, but the strike three call on Nico.
We got
lead off the game. The swing was brutal.
Got away with that one.
Oh, man, those look good.
3-2 here.
Got burgers in the house.
Yeah, we could use roll them up for a double play.
I'm starting to get the waft.
Grill
from
with
the
Dad
AC
is about to
unit
bring
blowing
these
it.
over here, but such a big moment, we have to pause on that for a second. All right, 3-2.
Drew.
Got
That's
him.
a strike.
Let's go.
Wow.
At least that one's on the fucking
That
zone.
one was a real. That was a real strike.
That was a real
All right,
strike.
that was a real bona fide strike.
That
he did
curveball-
not deserve those first 2 strikes. That's for sure.
But that curveball that he just threw, that is a next to impossible pitch to hit.
Yeah.
That's a work of art from Drew.
Perfectly located.
Cubs have had enough dumb luck. We'll take that.
Tommy Hotovy. You want to try it now, Cody? Might have a minute.
Okay. Grilling with Dad has something on a plate. You wanna come over and share that? You want to go over to Joey?
Yeah, come on through.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Guys, the lunch is ready. Here, come over here.
Here, come right here. You talk right into my mic.
Here, you know what? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I guess I'll just eat this whole plate myself.
Holy cow.
So for lunch today, a late lunch, we got these delicious grilled pork tenderloin sliders, little barbecue sauce, some crispy onions. Yes, please.
Here we go.
Show that off.
Wow, that smells really good. Oh, man.
It does smell delicious.
Try that out. Made super
yeah.
fresh.
Oh, yeah, I definitely got
Should
in
be
there.
Nice and delicious.
Perfectly framed.
They look
Joey,
really
yeah.
good. Yeah, perfectly framed.
It was perfectly in the center.
Framed, yeah.
Nice.
Perfectly framed.
Nice. If anybody wants to grab one or, go for it. Maybe a little juicy. Don't get dirty.
You guys go.
There you go.
Okay. Drew 01. Oh, popped up. Catch the ball. Catch
Peter.
the ball. Pete.
Yep.
Let's go.
right.
I'm going to celebrate Drew Smiley getting
Yes,
out of that with one of
please.
these. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And
As I get.
the
Let me
battle
know what
is
you think.
the
Let me
Cubs
know what you think
bullpen.
about those sliders.
All right, I'm biting into it now after
Let's
I
go.
dropped onions on my computer.
All right.
we got more back there too. So
That looks good. Ready?
Oh, that's really
That's the
tender.
onion.
Delicious.
What kind of barbecue sauce is that?
So that is Mariano's barbecue sauce, just store-bought.
Okay.
Oh my
Real
God.
easy. Pork should be tender.
The pork is really tender.
Delicious.
Tenderloin.
We are lucky today.
Hell
The
yeah,
main thing-
brother.
Main thing with pork, okay, doesn't matter what cut you use, just don't overcook it. Cook it to the right temperature, and it's going to be tender, juicy, and hopefully delicious.
It really is super tender, though.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad you guys like
I
it.
love it, man. It's really
Glad
good.
you
Yeah.
like it. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, Joey, for the napkin. So I just
Sarah
bought
says,
Traeger yesterday.
Sarah just,
Oh, nice.
someone's had one of our
Something new
shirts
on
on the
the
There you
broadcast.
go. You can throw a
Really?
pork tenderloin on there too.
Let's go. I
Low
missed
and
it.
slow,
I was
do a
too
little
busy
smoke.
enjoying this sandwich.
You get a meat thermometer, so you know when it's ready, and it'll be really good.
Well,
That's
now
so good.
I think the YouTube chat, if they're watching you on TikTok, Grilling with Dad on TikTok, it's as good as it looks.
Yeah.
All right. On.
No screenshots. You guys can't go back and screenshot me eating that, by the way.
I mean,
I'm glad you guys like it.
That was delicious.
I can't.
I am available to be served
Yeah.
barbecue food anytime we're doing the show for future reference.
We got one more dish coming up next too. smaller, not as filling, but hopefully it's just as good.
How long you been doing this?
So I started my Instagram page about 7 years ago.
Okay.
Just posting pictures, then moved to video, and it just kind of grew, snowballed over the last couple of years, and I went full time with it about 3 years ago.
Nice.
So making content, cooking, doing the videos. We have our own line of spices that we sell to now. Do events, demos, barbecue classes, things like that.
More important question: are you Cubs or Sox fan?
Oh, Cubs.
Hell yeah, brother. Let's go.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
Thank
be
you.
chatting with you after this. I'm trying to get into barbecue, so
There you go.
I like eating. I'm trying to do it myself. I just got a Traeger yesterday. My early birthday gift to myself.
When
I want to
will-
learn.
when
how to
will
do
you
It's
be
not really
bringing us
hard.
stuff
It's
to
not,
eat?
it's not super
When will
hard.
you be bringing us treats for the show?
Oh yeah, please. Here. Take.
Wish you. Corey and I were neighbors at one point, but he moved away from me.
I can be invited over for smoked meats.
I don't live far either, Kevin. You can always invite me.
Cody, you're always welcome.
Right on.
Always.
Man, I can't get. I want to eat that again. Can I just like?
I'm just saying. I came here, I grilled, and the Cubs are up.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
If they win this game, we're gonna drag your ass back here. You have to come here every day to grill.
Braggs, you in here?
But anyways,
Braggs is
all
here.
right,
Braggs,
we
you want the
got
mic?
one left. Somebody's got
I want a mic, of course.
Braggs. the
I'll
guy-
pop out if
the
you
loudest
want to
guy
sit
here.
I
down.
love
Shy.
talking and eating. Nothing I love more.
I would kill someone for a insurance run. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm allowed to say that on the air, but but like
down.
maybe like
Guys,
Dexter
so
style,
I'm
like
gonna
it's someone
go
who deserves it.
prep my next dish. Okay, get you more meat snacks.
This
here.
is good, man.
pork snacks. You
Oh,
like it?
Nico.
Right on,
Dude,
dude.
you
Oh my
nailed
God.
it.
Thank you.
Oh my God. He just
Let's
missed
go.
it.
Look at I sit down and a ground rule double. Get the hell out of here, Kevin.
That was not
Should he have caught
Mike
that?
Yastrzemski's finest moment.
Yeah. Should he get an air for that?
I don't think you can if you don't touch it, right?
I thought it hit. Well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
rolling. They're rolling it a double.
Good.
Let's watch that again. He lost the ball in the sun. Yeah.
You suck. Carl better not
Ladies and
have.
gentlemen, Greg Braggs is officially sat down.
If Carl had seen that one, oh boy.
Okay, you got to get an insurance. right
Yes.
here. You got to.
I mean,
get gifted this.
again, minimum. Like you
I
got
was-
the guy on second, get him over, get him in. It's not. We're not asking for a lot here.
I was referencing Carl Yastrzemski there.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about Hendricks. They called him Carl for a while.
No, you got it. It was a good baseball reference.
What's
Come
up,
to our.
Big Dave?
This mic's open. You can sit
People
back
in the
here,
chat
Dave.
asking. I thought we said, but it was a barbecue pork slider that we were
Yeah.
gifted
It's
from
fucking
Grilling with
good,
Dad.
too.
I don't know if I said I was too busy enjoying it.
Make sure you follow him, Grilling with Dad.
He's got a lot of
Grilling,
great
no G.
videos on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok.
Really?
Grilling with Dad.
Grill in, not grilling. That's why I was saying that.
Cody, how do you feel today?
Nervous.
Ask us in 30 minutes. Big Dave.
Saya. God.
They just cannot get it. It's very frustrating.
Saya yesterday, where they didn't send him when the ball went to the outfield. They held him at third, and then he got thrown out at home on the next one and grounded to the third.
I hate the contact.
I didn't
play,
realize
let me tell you.
I didn't realize. Get through.
Oh, there you go.
Get over. There we go. Is Saya like slow or something? Or was that just a bad send? Bad non-send and then a bad send? Or is he just slow?
He was
I think it was a good
contact.
it's a contact play. That's a more of a philosophical thing or not.
He was
I
running
hate
on
it, but
contact.
Yeah,
Then
he's going on contact.
yelling.
I wouldn't say he's slow, but he's not
Not
fast.
fast.
He's
Not
not
fast.
fast.
Because I was yelling, move your ass. It was like easy tag out.
No,
Yeah.
that's I think
That was a great play
usually
by
that's
Matt
called
Chapman.
from the dugout. They're either going on contact from third or they're not. I would prefer they not do that.
Matt
Do
Chapman.
not hit into double play.
He won't. He
Just
won't.
a sack
Now-
fly, please.
Oh,
I really want the Cubs to because I love when they win and Corey puts up the Shawn Michaels.
Well, so I've had to tell people this, Big Dave. Like on Twitter, they ask like, hit the music. I'm like, the Heartbreak Kid doesn't work for teams that are under 500. All right, that is a multi-time
Even I
WWF
changed the
champion.
video.
He is not tuning up the band when they are under 500.
I don't
I'm sorry,
tweet the
folks.
video of me and Braggs drunk in the bleachers celebrating anymore. I tweet the video of me hugging Patrick, just saying, I can't believe we won. So,
I used to be on the video with Cody every time they
That's
won.
interesting.
Now I'm
I
not.
didn't know
I
this
got
was
pushed
tied.
off.
The videos were tied to your emotions, man.
you had no idea.
I had no clue.
All
I
right.
had no clue. I knew when you lost it was tied to
double
your
play,
emotions. I
take
didn't
it
know the
out.
It
wins
helps.
were.
I think it helps. Like I don't want to. It's a bit, but don't want it to
Right.
get stale. And
Right, right.
if they're 8 games under 500, throwing it up, it's an easy way for that to.
in 2022, when they
Now when they get back
were
over,
bad,
people will be like, "There it is.
Sure.
There's Shawn Michaels.
Can't front.
We're
I
back."
enjoyed
Yeah.
watching it every time it came on. I enjoyed it.
when they were bad in 2022, I just tweet the video from The Office of Kevin saying it's just nice to win one. Yeah.
It's just nice to win.
Come
It's
on,
nice to win
Chris.
one.
I'm learning a lot, Cody.
Yeah.
Good
Nope.
take.
Good
Good take.
take.
Good
Very
take.
nice
But he's
take.
called that a strike in this game.
Yeah.
Like fastballs above the zone like that
Called
have been
that
called
one?
strikes.
He's called that.
Earlier in the game, there was one of those pitches that was called strike.
Yeah.
Come on, Christopher.
Gotta get a guy in here.
Wow, that's a really good percentage.
No.
Will
Fuck.
you
Ooh.
stop?
Jesus Christ. This team, I swear to God.
That's a good plate appearance from Christopher Moreau.
Did he walk him? He
Yep.
did.
Those pitches were on the edge and he patient.
Fuck,
It's a
brother.
good plate appearance.
You
All
guys
right,
shoot?
here comes the hottest hitter in the lineup. Come on.
Okay.
Ian Happ.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
good.
safe. He's safe. He's in. Thank God that's not the broken hand.
Yeah, like what are we doing? Like
You guys
what
still
is
had
Bob
it,
Melvin?
your-
That wasn't close. Like what are we looking at here?
Yeah.
So I know the guy. I know the
I think
guy
they're just showing it.
that owns Willie Harris's cleats.
That's
He
a
had
flex.
he not just
Come on,
any
Ian.
cleats. I know Corey yelled at me earlier about not talking about the White Sox, but he
Right,
does.
right.
Willie's on the Cubs, so it counts.
Mhm.
So he scored the game-winning run in the World Series.
Yes, he did.
And
Homie.
I don't know if I
I know
remember
the guy that owns his cleats that touched home plate. He owns those cleats.
Nice.
I know the guy.
Oh,
Oh,
How do you end up with those? Like at an
Dude, he
auction or
is the
something?
biggest. I've told him for a while I want to do like a video expose at in his basement. He is one of the biggest Chicago sports collectors ever. He has some of the most rare stuff.
Ian, I'm begging you, man.
no. Get out.
That's out. That's out. That's out.
God.
Just a sack fly, guys.
I am
begging for a sack fly.
He has an old WGN microphone from
Begging.
Mike Green. He stole it from Mike
cannot-
Green.
You know what? I can't be
I
mad.
like him.
He's had a good game. Like, good take. Good
Nice.
take.
Nice,
Good
nice.
take.
Carm, you got any more sliders, bro? You should. Yeah, feed the Greg.
Okay, 1 and 2. Boom.
Oh,
How did he not hit it?
A
damn.
hole in his bat.
It's
Yeah,
tough. It's tough to be on Happ because he's been clutch
Okay.
Been their best player.
the last several
Not
games. I
best
mean, he's
player.
been red hot
he's
for
been
a
It's
few
running
weeks
actually
now.
out of runs.
not
But
tough at all.
Cody, like That's a cement mixer over the middle of the plate. They have got.
This team gives me heartburn.
You got to be able to hit situationally, man. They would have such a cushion if they could just drive runs in while making outs today.
Yeah.
Well, they just had bases loaded, 1 out, and Happ struck out.
Yeah.
It started with nobody out, nobody on. And then as the inning progressed.
Got him. You got to know who hears these questions, man.
The Cubs are like one of the worst teams in baseball since the end of April with runners in scoring position.
Damn.
Like, it's.
When it's just, we talk about it, like you've got to add on in some of these situations because then we end up having the same conversation every day about the bullpen, but you wouldn't have to if you had scratched across a couple runs. It'd be a 4-1, 5-1 game easily.
Oh, they did it, Corey. They did it. They scored runs.
Thank you,
with 2 outs.
It's not just 1. They scored 2.
Holy shit.
2.
Buy a lottery ticket.
Swanson,
call your mom. Tell her you love her. Call your dad. Tell him you love him.
Okay.
Holy shit. The world is going to explode. It happened. Oh.
Get Hector Neris up now.
I don't know if that's joy.
There is no way
we don't experience joy. We just experience relief. That's all we're going for.
All right.
There is no joy in Wrigleyville, just relief.
It's just relief. There's no such thing as happiness.
This is what happens.
That is a big hit from Dansby Swanson.
This is what happens when Illinois pork producers are in our studio. So guess what? Every day, Emma.
That's a good meme.
0 chance.
The run differential now +2 since we were served delicious
Give
food
me
from
that
Grilling
whole
with Dad.
fucking plate.
So that's solid.
Yeah.
Sure.
Where are you?
Oh, we got some nonsense, folks.
How are we getting caught?
We got some nonsense.
Oh, that's another run.
He's safe.
He's safe because he dropped the ball.
There's no way that just happened.
Okay.
Great.
This is the big day. I promise.
They're
Hey.
doing this a lot today. Motorcycle, revving it up.
What is it, 6?
Good work, everybody.
Motoring.
Everybody involved. Good work.
What's your price for flight?
All right. Well, asking the YouTube chat now, how much would you have to be comfortable for them to be up for Neris to come in? 6-1, is that enough?
Yeah, 6-1 is enough.
8-1 if
for
Michael
me.
Bush homer
Emma,
here.
if
Is
you're
that
gonna
enough?
walk around giving out sliders and not give me one, I am going to lose my mind.
First of all, you need to chill out there, Braggs. See what
Tom
happens? Braggs,
Tom
you need to
doesn't
relax
need one.
yourself, brother.
Luke.
Get down. Get down. It will.
Hey,
It will.
Oh, it kicked off his foot and went right back to him.
If that plate is empty, so help me God. So help me God. Oh yeah. Oh no, these are all mine. I'm kidding.
Hey, you say thank you, man.
I gotta say thank you.
Yes, you.
Thank you.
What's wrong with you,
Thank
man?
you, Emma. You know I love you. Emma, hold on. I gotta get some of this stuff up here. Relax. Oh,
yeah, Braggs. I gotta work on your attitude.
Yeah. Well, the
Nice
Giants
catch.
have one of the worst. Their defense ain't good either.
Oh,
All right.
You sure did. Yeah, it was.
The
That was a
chat,
run.
the chat. I'm
absolutely a
getting
run.
some 6-1 is enough. Robert Fox says 10 runs would be enough. Tyler says Neris can chill. Not today.
Okay.
I think I might agree with that. Let's just leave it alone.
I'm gonna
Let's
eat
see if Drew Smiley can just eat this one and
one
finish
slider for every run. I need 4 more.
You're gonna do that regardless, right? This makes it better. Cody, what do you feel about shirtless Braggs?
He's a vibe.
It's a magical moment.
He's a
it
vibe.
up. Sean Caselli says Braggs is a growing boy. Let him eat.
Thank you, Sean. Sean understands me. Working with Carm every day will build up your appetite.
I got the chat a little riled up with that Neris cover. Sorry, guys.
Big contingency in the office, by the way, right now.
Yeah, yeah.
We got the whole like.
We deep.
The
Deep in
peanut
here.
gallery.
Yeah, it's amazing when it's announced that there's going to be food in the studio, how many people show up.
including yourself.
Including myself. I'd be gone by now. But here I am.
That's really what it is. Everybody would be gone by now.
Here I am.
People on the later shows wouldn't be here yet.
True.
Oh fuck!
I'm here
Here
for
we
Corey
go.
and Cody.
Who did I make a who you got picked
Ooh.
today?
Oh,
Nobody knows.
That's 3.
Nobody
I threw
knows.
in PCA.
Well, I mean, you
All
got to
right, I've done
understand
my
for a
work.
while, Joey, you're nitpicking between a bunch of guys that went 1 for 5, you know, with 3 strikeouts. Who cares?
You're welcome, Braggs. You're welcome for them runs.
Well,
Oh,
Brendan was on
thank you.
strike because
Thank
of how
you.
the team
I
was
appreciate
performing.
it.
Um,
I'll get on it.
that was a very nice inning. Thank you to the Chicago Cubs for putting
Leave your
up
phone.
a 3 spot in the 7th inning there.
Who will never
6 outs to go, 5-run cushion, Cody.
Ryan
Yes,
Herrera
I feel
will
pretty
never boycott who you got. He will be as proud as ever if he wins, regardless of if he was the only person to make a pick.
That's
He
true.
will care forever. It will read on his gravestone. 2023, who you got champion. It means a lot.
All right.
So let's see.
Absolutely
Let's take a look.
no shot the Cubs bullpen blows this game. 0. Mark it down.
Also,
Take
Cody,
a sip
I mean,
and shut the
if
hell
we're
up, Jim.
tracking some of these guys, Dansby, nice day today, 2 hits, homer, 2 for 4, only up to an 88 for looking at WRC plus, but he was way down there. I mean, we were in the 60s at one point. And if you can just get him, you know, it's the
2
same thing,
consecutive
like
games.
slightly above league
Come on
average
in.
is where you'd like him to be. If he can just get there, that
Mhm.
makes the lineup look a lot different. And you've seen the last few days when he's been able to go the other way, hit some home runs, clutch hit here to get the Cubs some insurance run. Like, just keep that going. If you can get some of these guys closer to their normal performance, maybe you win some of those 1-run games. Maybe you do have an extra cushion for your bullpen to screw around a little bit more. It may not turn this team into that, you know, a top of the league contender. Of course it won't. But if you can win a handful of those close games instead of losing them all, their record would look a lot different.
Mhm.
I'm gonna let Patrick take my spot, but if anything goes astray while I'm
You got to
gone,
come back.
I gotta
yeah.
come back.
The run
because
differential was
the
good when
run
you were in the
differential
chair.
with me
Yeah.
was very good. So
Yeah.
And I also, I
lot of
gotta
pressure here,
tell you,
Patrick,
I'm a
with our
little,
bullpen.
I don't know if I want to say surprised or anything. Maybe it's restraint. I don't know. Not one Caleb Williams mentioned the whole time.
I
we've
am
been sitting
surprised
here.
by that.
I didn't mention Caleb Williams, and I'm not drunk. Those 2 things.
I don't even know
are a
you anymore,
surprise.
Brett.
Yeah. So, but I did
don't
yell a
even
lot.
know you anymore.
I did yell a lot into this microphone and
By
eat
the way,
food.
yeah, I forgot to say that earlier. Carm on here talking about how bad he feels for us Cubs fans. It's like, wow, the Bears draft Caleb Williams. All of a sudden,
Yes, all is
all of a
cured.
sudden,
Yeah.
every other team is just like the Bears haven't been miserable for how many years now? Carm feeling bad for us. We all feel bad for each other.
Sure.
Well, Carm's been around a long
will go
time,
again.
so
Thank you.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
I would love it.
Oh yeah.
Grilling with Dad, hooking it up again.
All right, Patrick, you're up.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick Norton.
Now he's got to say it. I'm going to say it again.
Hi, Patrick.
Sit down. Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick.
Yes.
Patrick
Very
Norton.
good.
CHGO Digest. Subscribe, please.
Shout out to all the millennials who understand the
Is that
Whoa.
a non-alcoholic Blue Moon?
This is
Had one yesterday.
delicious.
A lot of orange
Double
flavor.
play
A
ball?
lot of orange flavor.
Hits you right in the mouth in a good way.
This is very good. Cubs are up 6-1. I'm getting served
Unbelievable.
barbecue sliders from
Unbelievable.
Grilling
those
with
are
Dad
really
here.
good.
This is not a bad day. And The air conditioning's working here at the CHGO studios. It's very hot in Chicago.
Yeah.
So
I saw, I mean, the air conditioning here is not always.
the vibes are pretty good today,
traditionally
honestly.
has not always been reliable. So somewhat like the Cubs
The last
bullpen.
2 years, that's for sure.
Yeah, like the Cubs bullpen has not always been reliable, but this year's actually been pretty solid. So
yeah, I have no complaints about our AC.
well, that guy there was a guy here fixing it for a couple weeks, and he did it.
He was legitimately
put
here
work
all day.
He put a lot of work in it, and we all thank him.
Yeah.
Grilling
Credit
with Dad,
to the
by
AC
the way,
guy.
Grilling with Dad like has his own line of spices. I think he's got his own sauce. Like that's how you know who we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
He's
when I'm looking at it,
vertical integration.
The recipes on his website, grillingwithdad.com. If he wanted to come back and run through some of these, I'm very interested. If the Cubs end up being 1-0 when we do these watch-alongs, he's out there grilling. You know, maybe it's something we have to do all the time.
Yeah.
Cody and Patrick, we have to do as a group what we have to do to
Double
help
play?
this team. If that means we have to do watch-alongs and eat delicious grilled food, then so be it. And drink ice-cold Blue Moon.
Yeah.
In the middle of the day.
That's what we have
I've
to
drank
do.
Blue Moon today.
To do our
ate
part.
These meats. I've
That's
sat
really
here.
big of you.
It is
Yeah.
big of
guys.
us.
Tough day at work.
Credit to us.
Tough day at the office.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tweeted out
God
my
gives his
usual
toughest
photo.
battles to his strongest soldiers.
I
We are
tweeted
the
out my
strong
usual
soldiers.
photo when I walked up the stairs at beautiful historic Wrigley Field yesterday. I said, I'm back. I'm here again. I'm doing everything I can for this team. Now, what that means is sitting at the most beautiful ballpark in the world and watching baseball in the great city of Chicago. But it's a tough job, and someone's got to do it, Cody.
How many
and
dogs?
I will be that man.
Right,
No dog yesterday.
It's a shame.
Yeah. I can't eat them every game. I could, but I try to.
I think you're selling
For
yourself short.
personal reasons, it doesn't seem like a good idea. My diet just consists of only
dogs.
$8 hot dogs. Yeah.
Oh, man.
We need to do whatever we can to help this team turn a double play.
Yeah, what is up with the fact that we
middle
can't turn
infield
a
is-
double
is-
play,
yeah.
man? It's either we get the double play ball, but the ball isn't hit hard enough,
Yeah.
or
You step on second.
the
after
bullpen
taking
just
4
blows it,
throws
or whoever
or
just
4 steps.
gives up the
Yeah.
hit, with the situation.
You see that? The slide?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I did.
When we didn't talk about too. I actually Mark Leiter Jr. gets used a lot, and we saw last year how it sometimes plays into his effectiveness, how his splitter looks, how it moves. I do like today. You got an off day tomorrow. I do like, even though you're up 5, going to. I mean, I guess Tyson Miller has been their best man recently, but Leiter's the anchor of this bullpen as it's currently constructed.
Yeah.
I do like it from Craig. Like, no screwing around. You need to win this game. And yeah, I do like it. I don't know what we have in store for the 9th inning, but we'll find out. We're in this together, folks.
Porter Hodge?
Sure.
Which
could.
goes against what you kind of just said, but
Well, maybe the Cubs offense can add on some more.
yeah. Just a battle between a couple of last place teams.
The
Leiter's got
marquee
some good,
broadcast not even putting the Cubs in their own NL wildcard graphic, despite being
Come on, Marquee.
just I think one team below.
Yeah.
Wow, harsh.
Rough.
That's harsh.
All right,
Leiter's
Mark.
got some killer facial hair.
You don't see the straight goatee as much anymore.
Really looks nothing like his dad or Al or Jack.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the relation between him and Jack?
Cousins.
Cousins.
Al is his uncle.
And his
Okay,
dad's name is
so
pretty easy to remember.
not
17
quite what I
pitches.
was just saying about Mark Leiter Jr. But that's also, it is one of those things. I like the aggressiveness, but it is something that they're going to have to balance. He does lose effectiveness when he's used
Yeah.
a lot. And I think you can kind of tell when that splitter's not as effective, when his command isn't as effective. But that's a tough thing for Craig Counsell to balance at this moment.
Yeah.
And it was a tough thing for David Ross to balance. Like when you don't have too many reliable guys, you have to weigh, do I go to Mark Leiter Jr. even if I feel like he's not at his best, or do I go to someone who we don't trust at all or shouldn't trust at all? So we'll see.
Who are the people that we really didn't trust last year?
Anyone that wasn't Julian Merriweather, Edward Alzolay, or Mark Leiter Jr.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Daniel Norris.
Drew Smiley was really good down the stretch.
Yeah. I'd say Michael Fulmer was a guy that grew
Fulmer,
on.
before he got hurt. Yeah.
Did he come back and then get hurt again warming up?
Well, he started as the closer. That was bad.
Yeah.
Then he moved and then got hurt. I don't really remember. I tried to block out most of the 2023 season from my brain.
Yeah, as fun as the season was, it is one that I also just wish I didn't remember.
All right, Mark, please no screwing around here. Center cut fastball. I specifically said no screwing around. All right, bury a splitter here. Let's move on with our lives, and we'll figure out who's pitching in the ninth.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson Miller.
Sweet.
So that is probably, win a ball game. You got to win a series, lock it down. You have an off day tomorrow. Like,
I wasn't sure that he'd be available today.
Yeah.
So I'm a little surprised by that, I suppose.
I don't mind the aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works out, but go to your best guys.
Throw strike.
Command is off from Mark Leiter Jr., which is great.
Two. God, fuck.
When I suppose, and I mean, playing devil's advocate to myself, the counter argument to that would be if you can't pitch some of these other guys when you're up 5 runs, when are you going to pitch them? They got to get outs at some point. And I don't know.
Trying to think of who's like fresh, like who hasn't pitched lately. I feel like they've all pitched lately.
Yeah.
Well, Porter Hodge back,
Porter
like Patrick
Hodge,
said. Yeah.
God.
They. All right. Well,
the good news is they can't tie it with one swing.
Yeah. Well, and this is one of those things.
Hayden,
like
you think?
can kind of see it with Mark. Sometimes it's not there.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the call, but clearly, he just doesn't have it sometimes.
Oh, and he's one of those guys too, and a lot of bullpen guys are, where you can tell within their first few pitches.
Yeah.
And him,
what kind of day it is, for them. When the command's off, when the splitter's off, it usually is not going to come back. Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah. Well, this is the right call. Conceptually, I didn't hate it.
Honestly, with it being 6-1 and the fact that Hodge was fresh, like I wouldn't have hated to see Hodge come in there, considering he has a swing and miss factor, but I know he walks guys too.
Yeah.
So it's like
you might be in the same situation that you are in right now.
Right. So do we have more? Oh my God. Let's go.
We do need that back, Joey. Yeah.
Emma broke the TV. She pulled out a cord.
The YouTube chat's going to have to tell us what happens. We're good.
It's fixed. Yay, Slay.
Grilling with Dad is back.
What do you got? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see.
Ooh.
Sounds good.
Oh,
and these are your own spices, yes?
Wow.
Wonderful. Thank you.
What a perk.
That is
delicious.
Don't let Braggs have any.
Yeah. Thank you.
awesome. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
Delicious.
that's the stuff.
Oh yeah.
All right.
You want to take these around? Okay, so these were grilled pork loin.
They're showing Tyson
skewers.
Miller stats, so they brought in Tyson Miller.
Grilled pork loin
Which is-
skewers.
I'm surprised because he pitched 2 innings yesterday, right?
Was it 2 full? I know he pitched
Was
2
it-
full 2 nights ago, or 3 nights ago. I mean,
Okay.
I'm cool with it if he's up for it.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you guys think?
Delicious.
That was
It's
unbelievable.
delicious.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That was
It's
unreal.
helping me feel better as we're in this tough spot with the bases loaded right now.
Still
no
up,
doubt.
man. It's might be the grilling. I'm just I'm just
No,
saying.
we've been saying like we're gonna drag you back here
I'm just
tomorrow
saying.
or Friday. You have to come to the office every day for the if they pull this out. Nice. Oh. All right. So Miller coming in, throwing strikes. Love to see it. Cubs legend Jorge Soler at the plate.
Here we go.
Oh,
Yeesh.
Like the foul.
How many more games in the season do we have?
A million.
Yeah.
This
Yeesh.
is the year
Gosh,
that
we're up 6-1, and I
ends.
feel like it's like 6-5. Ugh. All right, good.
Okay,
Good
it's
0-2
fine
pitch.
miss. I know it. You'd feel like up 6-1. It would be nice to have. We're just not allowed to have a game that we don't have to sweat.
We did get
It's
one
not
on
allowed.
Saturday.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would
it's
say
just been
that.
one of those things where
Yesterday's was pretty comfortable.
like a 1-run deficit feels like a 10-run game,
Yeah.
and a 1-run or in a 5-run lead feels like
Right.
a 1-run game.
Damn. Yeah, I'm 0-2 now. It's 2-2. He tried what first? The 0-2 pitch was what, slider? Then he goes a fastball out of the zone. Oh man! Please don't hurt me. That's just
No way.
no
On the
fucking
wavelength.
way, bro.
What?
Braggs
My
has to
fault?
sit down.
What the
Braggs
fuck
does
are
have
you
to-
doing?
It's not my fault, okay?
108.
I'm gonna stand behind you. You have to leave?
Uh,
Okay, well then it's your fault for putting your backpack on.
So council,
Jorge.
That's
so
unbelievable.
again, they've been used a lot and things like that, but just it's worth pointing out that today up 5, council does go to his 2 best relievers,
Yeah,
and
that's
even
not-
still,
yeah.
now we're sweating out a 1-run game.
That's
Yeah.
a matter of people just not getting outs.
Yeah.
At some point, guys got to do their jobs.
Yeah.
Like the pitchers need to do their jobs.
And you can't walk people, bro. Bruh. The good news is that they still lead.
It's a hell of a thing to say before this inning is over.
This is really something. And this team is. I don't know if I recall
The way he hung,
something like this.
the first
That first one, yeah.
that way he
rough.
hung that one. Ugh. Unfucking real, bro. Popped up.
All right,
No way.
please.
There we are.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Okay.
Rolling with Dad has some really good seasonings
That we just tried.
that we just tried, and it made
We only got to enjoy that delicious pork bite for a second before the Cubs
Yeah,
decided they were going to ruin this game or almost ruin this game.
Yeah, I brought some of these. You guys feel free to share. check them out. All-purpose barbecue, sweet barbecue, a little maple bourbon, all served on the pork, Illinois pork that you had today. So nice and tender, a little sweet and spicy
take
sauce
more.
on top.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Which of the spices was on these?
This one had the sweet barbecue.
Yeah, you're totally fine.
Because the sauce was a little kind of sweet and spicy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sweet
Delicious.
barbecue.
And that one's got granulated honey as the sweetener, so it's not sugary sweet. It's more of a honey sweet. So
The Cubs bullpen may be bad, but
At
the
least
food that we have had from Grilling
Yeah.
with Dad, very good.
I'm glad you guys liked it.
All right, here we go.
I know. I'm a -4 right now.
Yeah.
God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers.
Everyone's flocking. Brags is flocking.
Trying not to. Wait. Sorry. My mic. We're good.
I'm just trying not to spell.
The other good news is that
We'll all be dead.
Kyle Hendricks still qualifies for the win.
Whoa! All right, that is true. Hold on a minute.
I walked away. Where can I get those spices?
Spices, you can get those on Amazon or directly on my website, grillingwithdad.com.
Sweet.
There you go.
Oh yeah, Amazon too.
Amazon too.
All right.
Free
It's
2-day
the
shipping.
same handle on all socials. I know it's on
Same name
TikTok.
everywhere. Yeah,
Grilling with
Grilling
Dad.
Yep.
Awesome, man.
No G at the end of grilling.
No
Like,
G.
Keep it street.
Do you grill every day, or is it like a special occasion thing?
No, pretty much every day. So we try to put out content every day, new videos, recipes.
Nice.
Just easy to make stuff, kind of like what you had today. You know, approachable. Anybody can do it. I can do it. Anybody can do it.
Okay.
Including Kevin Wells.
Including Kevin Wells. Yes.
I'm excited to see his Traeger journey. Should be good.
They can't go.
I thought for once we could get
An
a
easy
comfortable,
Just for
easy,
once.
non-save situation win. And here we are.
You know they're gonna bring in Hector. You know he's gonna bring in Hector for the night.
Well, Tyson's been doing multiple innings.
Yeah.
I mention him all the time, but a friend of the podcast, Matt Clapp on Twitter, talking like the disappointing thing from Leiter there is the walks. You're up 5 runs, you
Attack
walk
the zone.
2 guys. You can't be doing that, man.
Yeah.
Like if they beat you, and even Tyson Miller there, he gets beat by Jorge Soler, long at bat, hard hit ball. It happens, but you cannot walk guys when you're up 6-1. You
Yeah.
can't do that.
Now the Giants have got 2
Marquis
quick
is not
outs.
showing us who is in the bullpen, if anyone is in the bullpen.
Yeah.
YouTube chat, if you know,
Hey,
tell
oh,
us.
there he is.
Is that Colton Brewer?
Yeah,
That is Colton Brewer.
he looks a lot
Okey-dokey.
like right-handed Luke Little.
The internet is going to
Colton
watch us
Brewer.
all have a mental breakdown. So
This is going to be
get
fun.
ready for that.
The writing was on the wall when I was assigned the 8th and 9th inning.
God. Run
So
save.
naturally a very
1, 2,
quick
3.
inning from the Cubs offense. All right.
The all-important shutdown inning.
Buckle
Yep.
your seatbelts,
Yep.
folks. Maybe get a Blue Moon ready.
I don't want to watch.
I wasn't talking about you with the beer bat. I'm saying at home you might want an alcoholic beverage
Yeah,
to get through
yeah.
this 9th inning. Oh man, I don't know,
Yeah.
guys.
And
I don't know
Drake
what we're
just
supposed to
tweeted
do
that
at this
Brewer's
point.
coming in for the 9th. So Tyson Miller's not even starting the inning.
Okay.
Greg Counsell sure loves the Brewers.
The Giants have the 8, 9, and leadoff hitter up first. So like I think this inning will be telling on how it's going to go based off the first batter.
Yeah. Whether it's a walk or
I mean, some,
dribbler to
they're
third, but
fine enough numbers from Colton Brewer so far this year. ERA almost at 4, his FIP though under 3. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
it's all going to be okay.
Do you,
keep
you,
telling
you really
yourself that.
believe that? Yeah, I don't know
but
if
just
you
keep
do.
telling
Yeah.
yourself that. It will all be fine.
All right. If you're in our YouTube chat, we got over 100 people watching. Appreciate you guys watching the game along with us. Drop a prediction in the YouTube chat. They win in 6-5. Is Colton Brewer going to pull a Keegan Thompson, clutch out a save in a 9th inning here?
And then have a
What's
kid
happening
tomorrow.
Tell me.
What if he goes 1, 2, 3, and then everyone's like, "Oh, Colton Brewer's the closer," just like everyone online was like, "Oh, Keegan Thompson's the closer."
Paternity.
Nathan Moore says Giants win 8-6. Ravi says Giants win 7-6. Jason R says Cubs win in 11. Barb says 6-5. Barb believes Colton Brewer's closing this down. Christian says 7-5 Cubs.
Well, that can't happen.
I'm not sure that's possible, but
that's not
still
possible.
Cubs win. Christian's still taking the Cubs to win.
Yeah. Maybe he's sent
Sean
up
Caselli's got
before.
the Giants here, so let's see.
All right.
Starts
Really
with
bad
a
strike
gifted
call, but we'll
strike,
take
but
it.
it's been that way all day. Like
It
it is
has.
what it is.
It's been that way all series.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
horrible.
Awful.
That umpire auditor account is getting a workout
Yeah.
from the umps in this series.
Okay.
Come on, David Bodie. Nice
Oh,
throw.
baby.
Bodie.
Oh, baby.
Well, and that's a nice play from David Bodie.
There's no way
and
Morel
also that's
mixed
the
up.
key. I mean, the first one's on the edge. He got the call, but that's the key for Colton Brewer here. You got to throw strikes. Do not put guys on for free. Obviously, a 1-run game, you don't want to make mistakes, but you can't keep putting guys on for free. You got to make them hit the ball.
Yeah. That or strike him out.
Yeah, look at your card, David.
This Wilmer Flores.
People forget Wilmer Flores once cried. Just in the middle of a game.
Yeah, he cried.
Yeah.
Thought he was traded.
Yep. I would cry
I
if
forgot
I had to
about
play for
that.
the Mets too.
All right. 1-0. All right. Foul tip. That was a good located fastball. Bumping out 96. I'll give Brewer this. He is a veteran, so it's like he's pitched in games. It's not like he's Porter Hodge and has pitched like 6 innings. So
I'm spun off a bit.
see what he can do here, man. Trying to win a series.
Never easy. It's all right.
3-1.
Got him right where you want him.
Feel like I was pretty clear with my no walk strategy.
No
but
walks.
Hasn't happened.
I don't have
Throw
a
a
mic. I
strike,
don't have a
man.
mic to the dugout. So
Throw a strike. God. Another walk, dude.
okay, great.
Fine. It's only the top of the order.
I got no words right now. If they blow this,
There's nothing you can say at this point.
yeah.
They left 1,000 runs on the bases.
Yep.
Nobody in the bullpen can do their job.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know, you guys.
Just like after
Just
they
try to
got-
squeak this out. It's all it is at this point. I mean, you're just trying to win the game somehow. We can talk about how they got there later.
All right. There's a good start.
Thanks.
This guy's got 2 hits today.
It's due for an out.
Oh.
Don't
That
throw
is-
that pitch
Oh
again.
my
Yep.
God.
All right. He's ahead 0-2.
This is where a lot of Cubs relievers have gotten into trouble with serving up way too good of pitches on 0-2.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a good pitch on
that's-
0-2.
I'm-
Yeah.
that's a good 0-2 pitch. Honestly, throw it again. See if he swings at it the second time.
Isn't this fun?
Uh-huh.
Isn't baseball fun, you guys? every day. Just a joy.
Oh, he didn't throw it where the catcher was set up. So even though it was kind of
framed that.
Look where he's set up. Like it, that's a borderline pitch, but the way it's framed is awful.
Great angle.
Good camera work there. Yep. Yeah. I'm assuming they did not get him. We're just left to wonder. Okay, Colton Brewer, throw a strike, please.
Oh,
close. All right.
Did he walk him? No, 3-2. God, this is.
So now their hottest hitter coming up.
It's fine. It's fine.
Joey, can you? I don't know,
like
man.
A funeral march of some sort.
I don't know.
Yeah. An in memoriam song on the roadcaster.
I will.
I don't know, guys. I feel like the general like speechlessness of the three of us is just telling of where we're at here. This is one of those days where like I don't know what Craig should have done differently. I'm sure there are plenty of people yelling about what he should have done, but
maybe
he tried to go to his best relievers, who in any other bullpen shouldn't be your best relievers, you know, and that didn't work. And guys got to do their job. Like Colton Brewer needs to get outs. That's what needs to happen.
He had an 0-2 count on that guy, and he walked him.
Like
he just can't.
The following 4 pitches,
he can't finish them off.
Wasn't competitive after that.
Yeah,
like that's just where it's at.
Got to make better 0-2 pitches. I think that first curveball was a good pitch to throw. Try to bait the swing. The others were non-competitive.
Yeah.
Just balls from the minute they left his hand.
Shout out to this fan standing,
he's trying.
Clapping. He's doing his best.
He's trying.
He's doing.
Vibes are high.
Oh my God! Please,
just get one out. Just get one out.
Got him. Thank God.
Everybody chill. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, a base hit, they lead. A base hit, an infield hit, it's a tie game. Like
I think Colton's got it. That's what I think.
Is Soler coming up next?
No.
It's just like
his arm hit.
He's out. Yeah, he's out by like literally a third of a step.
Okay. How is everybody feeling?
Great.
Patrick Bailey, 1 for 4, single and a run.
Come on, Colton.
Oh my
That's
God.
gonna work. That is gonna work. We survive, ladies and gentlemen. Joey, might I have the W flag? We found our closer. Listen, they gutted it out, y'all, but a win's a win. It's June. A win is a win.
That's 2 in a row.
Oh, shut up, Law.
They did win.
I'm in a glass case.
Sweated it out.
I'm in a glass case of emotions.
Should we sing the song?
I can't right now, brother.
Sing the song. Which one?
Baseball time is here.
Dun, dun.
You can catch it all on WGN.
Hey, Chicago, what do you say?
The Cubs are gonna win today.
They're singing,
Go Cubs, go.
Come on, Carm.
Go Cubs, go. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today.
All right. Cubs are back.
We got a super chat from Fernando to finish off our broadcast here. Thank you, Fernando. He just says W. That's all I got.
Thank you. All right, post game's coming up in a few minutes, guys.
Had a lot of people in here. Thanks for joining us.
Shout
for
out
all
to everyone
9
who
innings
watched
here
the
today.
live stream.
That
We
was
went
fun.
through the ups and downs. My God.
Well, it was sort of fun. It was mostly fun.
It was mostly fun until it wasn't, and then
Thanks
it was
to Grilling
fun
with
again.
Dad for lunch.
Yeah, shout out to Grilling with Dad. Buy his spices, buy his all of his stuff.
GrillingWithDad.com. Same
Amazon,
on TikTok, Instagram.
GrillingWithDad.com.
Y'all know the deal.
I'm on Amazon.
He's got
right
a million
now.
followers on TikTok. That's impressive. All right. You should follow him. Okay.
See you
Anything
guys
else?
in post game.
See you in post game. Goodbye.
Fly the W.
We all silly.